Good afternoon, everybody. Very warm welcome back to the channel. Exciting day today, but also a bit of a uncertain day, if you like. We are at Macco Simulations Manchester Airport for Microsoft Flight Simulator. Those of you watching about a week ago will know that we had quite a few issues with crash desktops, with the memory issue that a lot of people across the community are reporting since Sim Update 9. But we're here to celebrate the Fenix A320 release a few days ago. It was just released the other day, and hopefully you guys are really enjoying the latest updates to it as well. ATC seems very loud, so let me just turn that down a little bit, like so. But here we are. This is going to be my first potential full flight with the Fenix A320 because of the sim instability from Sim Update 9's Hotfix. It's just caused me so many problems, so thanks for your patience. Those of you who have waited a week for this live stream. Exciting day today. Things haven't worked out so far, but we're going to try our best, and we're going to see how far we can get to towards Split on the VATSIM network. So already from the outside, the sounds of the Fenix A320 are pretty wonderful, and not that we can really hear it, but if those fan blades are rotating with the wind at the moment, then you can hear the click-clack of the fan blades knocking about as they rotate, which is really cool. By far the most immersive experience for Airbus pilots in the sim at the moment, and as it stands, we're loading the aircraft. Boarded 68 passengers at the moment. You can see them filling in there. Cargo's in, and our fuel is already in too, and you can see that centre of gravity bug moving around like so as we fill the back up. And we'll bleed the APU. So what we're expecting at the moment is, David and a few others want a little walk around. Sure, I'll try it in drone cam. We'll see what we get. Oops, we're in a bit of a restrictive stand here, so it could get a bit tight. Model-wise, it is quite exquisite. This is just the 4K texture as well. It comes with chocks and all that sort of stuff, and those beautiful engines. The pylons look very nicely detailed indeed, and those little wing fences, the old school Airbus style. There's the back door open, the rear boarding, and there's the APU. So cool. TIVUN, welcome aboard it, Oz and Airbus Sky, and enjoying it so far by the sounds of it then. Right, what have we got? We're going to fill this up in a little while. We're still waiting for the IRS to align. We've got a minute to go, but we can get our clearance so far anyway with Manchester ground. It's information Victor, and we are at stand 7. Need to make sure my pen is working so I can write down the data from the controllers as we get given it. Info Victor. What we're expecting at the moment is I need to sign back into Navigraph. I think it was the SONEX 1 Romeo departure, I believe. I can't quite remember. SONEX 1 Yankee. But again, it depends on which runway is in use as it stands at the moment here at Manchester. Manchester ground, good afternoon. Easy 906 Foxtrot Charlie, stand 7, A320 with Victor, request RFR to split.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, Manchester ground, good afternoon, welcome to, not welcome to Manchester, you're already here. Yeah, cleared to split, SONEX 1 Romeo departure, squawk 0322.
Cheers. Squawk, cleared splits, SONEX 1 Romeo departure, squawk 0322, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, be back correct.
How are we doing on this? So we can look at our on-time performance as well. 20 minutes pre-push. We've got a bit of time to go. And there's our METAR at the moment at Manchester. DNH 1011. A really impressive EFB. Very, very impressive EFB. And by far the sort of EFB that I'd love to see across different other aircraft as well. TIVUN, the day before I could not make the two add-ons work together, the Fenix and the pushback mod. Yes, so toolbar pushback, they've said you have to uninstall it for the Fenix because it's causing unwanted issues, they've said. Still boarding. No worries. Still got another few stragglers left, and the IRS is now aligned. The one thing that strikes me the most with this so far is the textures. That aged look. It is obviously based upon an older aeroplane, but it looks really nice. What were we at? SONEX 1 Romeo departure, didn't we? So that's going to be runway 23 right. Doc, hello buddy. I think it's going to be 23 right. Let's just bring up the charts and have a little look. SONEX 1 Romeo, yes. So runway 23 right instead. I'm still undecided as to whether or not I prefer the Boeing 737 from PMDG or this Fenix A320. I've not flown this one enough, just because, well, I've had all sorts of problems so far. Cruise flight level above maximum flight level, that's interesting. We will review that in a second. Runway 23 right. I mean, this is great for those of you who are crossing over from the fly-by-wire A320X without you needing to have too much of a
no problem. Just contact me when you're back here.
sort of, you know, without you needing some sort of specific effort to learn the aeroplane. If you already know the A320X, chances are you're going to be okay with this. I mean, yeah, for me, the PMDG still remains the best on performance. There is a lot going on with this Fenix A320 though, including the way the EFB works. So Manchester 3, Wallasey 33, which is going to be, yes, that's 33 DME, pseudo waypoint, SONEX then at 5000, so that nav data is looking pretty good. And in the RADNAV page, it's already put in the Manchester VORs and the runway ILS frequency should we have to turn back. Cost index of 30. So here on the fly-by-wire you can click that and it'll auto-populate. On this, what we now need to do, boarding complete, happy days, we need to go back here, departure performance, and we need to calculate it and get the numbers like we do for the Boeing 737. So runway 23 right, dry surface, optimum flaps, force toga, no, anti-ice off, packs on. We sync the load sheets for the final, and we can sync the live weather, and we can hit calculate. Now we might even get an intersection departure at Mike, so that tends to be the norm. Therefore on here we're going to select Mike like so, and it's recalculating our V speeds there, which is really good. We go back into this tab, this app if you like, we can see our gross weight of 69.1 tons. But what we need is the zero fuel weight and the zero fuel weight centre of gravity. So 58.91, we'll call it 58.9 and 31.2. Memory of a SIV today, 58.9. And then slash 31.2. And then in fuel planning, it can calculate it for you. Yeah, the sounds are fantastic, Michael. The furthest I've been able to get so far with it, sadly, because of the sim being really unstable, a lot of the changes that I've done so far is literally a takeoff, and then it crashes the desktop again. So 6.9 block, we'll have that. And in the performance page, we want to basically copy what we put into the data a second ago, which is in this departure performance program. So takeoff shift of 300. Some companies don't require that sort of stuff, I don't think. That's down 0.0, so 1/DN 0.0. Flex of 55. And then we got the V speeds. So 142, 142, 145.
Croatia 288 Manchester ground. Good afternoon. Welcome to correction. God, I'm not getting my teeth in today. Clear to split. SONEX 1 Romeo
there we go.
departure squawk 2231.
Checking the transition, we have got, let's see, flight level 65, so yeah, outbound transition altitude 5,000 on the way up. Oh, cheers guys, just seeing that in the live chat, I've misclicked something. Yeah, 31.2, thank you, one of those days. So 58.9. And then 31.2. Cheers, guys. So, we've done the perf page. That's all looking okay. The init page is filled out, and the init B. Fuel predictions. That'll populate more as we make our way through, and it will change the figures. And there's our flight plan so far as well. Checking up to Denbigh, and there's our speed limit point, so that's where we're forecast to go over 10,000 feet and therefore accelerate from there. And then away we go. Love this EFB, very, very cool. Let's have a little look at Navigraph then, so you can see what we are going to be doing today. I'll just close that Fenix program into the background. So we're here. Stand 7, Juliet Echo in the sort of Juliet cul-de-sac. We're going to push start face south using the tools in the EFB today. Then we're going to head down, probably get Mike for an intersection departure runway 23 right onto the SONEX 1 Romeo departure, which is outbound to 3 DME, then right turn 344 degrees up to Zoomat. Prior to that, 8 DME from the MCTVOR, turning right to head to 5,000 up to that pseudo waypoint, which is 33 miles away from Wallasey on an outbound radial of 081 degrees. Then to SONEX 5,000, and away we go. So heading over Sheffield, over Donny, over RF Waddington and Coningsby, skimming the coast of Norfolk, and then over the English Channel across Europe. This is the Macco Simulations Manchester Airport scenery. Really like it. And we've not used it for quite some time actually, so longer overdue visit to the airport, of course. Obviously this does also allow Navigraph inside the EFB too. So we can import from SimBrief. Now this is really neat looking, so we can click into Manchester and we can have a little look at the departures. Oops, my bad. SONEX 1 Romeo. We can star it, and then we can click that, and actually if we want to, we can doodle all over it.
Transit 216, Manchester ground, hello, clear to Amsterdam, SONEX 1 Romeo departure,
like so.
4664.
So, you know, you can overwrite and scribble all over the place, and you can scribble it out as well, rub it all out. Now this is really cool, and Katie Pilot on Twitch actually helped create most of this, if not all of it, I believe. I'm not sure, but incredibly good EFB that they've developed there. Huge fan of it. Back into here, and we want to go to ground services.
Stand 5-3, push and start is approved facing east.
APU's on bleed. Let's get off external power. Get rid of the GPU. Park brake was on, so let's clear the chocks. Alec, hello buddy. No worries at all. So mass balance done, panel configs. Now interestingly, I've set cold and dark as default, and I don't know if you guys are going to be having the same thing, same sort of problem, but I'm finding that every time I load in and the Fenix program connects to the aircraft, even though I've selected cold dark as my default state, it will always load up with the engines running for a couple of minutes, then it will sync itself and it will kill everything, which is a bit weird, a bit rough around the edges in that sense. I think we are there. We've got 11 minutes to go, and actually QNH 1011 5000, that's all managed. Pop the constraints on, let's bring that down. We just used VOR1. It's been a while since I've been in an Airbus. Trying to remember it now. Very much gone into the Boeing world now. That's good, that's all done, that's all good. APU's fired up. Squawk 0322. Right. I think we are ready for pushback, folks. Lendo, welcome aboard. It's a known issue, yeah, they're looking into it, Dan. Nice one, thank you. I need to change that default view as well, that's quite frustrating. Right, let's connect the tug. 10 minutes to go. But we're ready, so let's just get the pushbacks all ready to go. And then we're going to listen to those startup sounds. VFR, I haven't yet. No. Yeah, pretty cool.
Easy 1875, Manchester ground, hello, clear to Jersey, Cookson 1, Romeo departure, squawk 3447.
Clear to Jersey via the Cookson 1.
Don, yeah, Navigraph, exceptionally good. And actually now it feeds in a lot of data into these add-on aircraft too. Don't forget to smash the like button today, folks.
easyJet 220, just make it a 235, requesting a taxi to Pier Bravo.
Easy 220, I've got you at stand 21, is that okay?
Sounds good to me, easyJet 220.
Easy 220, roger, taxi to stand 21.
I think Farbawa and Fenix seem both very good. This is obviously more complete, but it depends what you want and what your budget is as well. We don't need to spend money if we can't afford it.
Thanks.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, stand 7, fully ready, request push and start, please.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, stand 7, push and start over proof facing south.
Push start proof, face south, easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie. So, for the first time, let's listen to...
Fenix 1 Alpha Mike, ready for a push and start.
Engine sounds.
Fenix 1 Alpha Mike, hold position just...
The only thing is the fact that actually it could be a bit problematic trying to steer this aeroplane in the pushback thing. It's like the EFB and the fly-by-wire version as well. Not a fan of pushback inside the EFB. Much rather have the ability to sort of connect stuff up and... Oh my god, see, it's already going wrong. I'd much rather draw the map of where I want the aeroplane to go and let it go there, if that makes sense. I think I've rather chopped this up. That's as good as we're going to get, I think. Let's just stop the tug there. Yeah, cumbersome, to say the least. Ryan, welcome. Any solution to the memory errors? Oded Blizzard is asking. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I've changed a lot of stuff, including the graphics drivers too. I've actually tweaked the graphics drivers to...
Sunset 216, hold position, aircraft behind.
Holding position, Tom 216.
Get this one started. We'll listen to the sounds from the outside. Look at that. Awful. That's the worst pushback I've done for a while. Yeah, I've even changed my NVIDIA driver completely to the Studio game driver instead. It was the NVIDIA Studio driver instead of the game driver. Oh, that's a shocking pushback.
Croatia 288, hold position, aircraft just...
Beautiful Osprey 737 behind there. Ryan, that doesn't sound good. Oh, it does, yeah. It's very, it's not great. But even without toolbar pushback added into my community folder, I'm getting a lot of problems.
Easy 1875, fully ready to
Easy 1875, hold position, aircraft pushing back behind, you got a 2 for pushback.
Roger, behind number 2, pushback easy 1875.
Okay, well that's them done. Let's do flaps. I think I've set a couple of custom views.
2 at 9 at 5, taxi to holding point Mike 1 for runway 23 right via Delta. Papa, Kilo, and
We're going to
Juliet.
set more custom views live as we fly along, by the way, so don't... you're wondering how to set these yourself, don't be too worried. If we can get airborne, if the sim allows me, then my intention is to show you. There we go, look at that for a view, yes, I love that. And then we can go laps 1.
Easy 295, hold position. Easy 295, actually, if you go down Delta, you go down Lima, and you're going to you've got an aircraft coming straight ahead of you. Just hold position.
What's the for easy 220?
Negative easy 220. Just you seem to be head to head with the other EasyJet there. Easy 220 if able, pack up at stand 2-1.
Sounds like a load of carnage going on around the corner.
Hold position for a while, no problem.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, request taxi.
Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, taxi holding point Mike 123 right by Juliet, Echo, Kilo and Juliet.
Taxi hold point Mike, runway 23 right via Juliet Echo, Kilo, Juliet, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie.
Easy 295, you've caused a bit of a kerfuffle there because you're
wee bit of power
with another aircraft blocking his parking. Are you able to push back from where you are or reverse back a little bit?
Excuse me, are you able to take stand 2 if that's on?
Easy 220, roger, actually, yeah.
Here we go.
Stand 2 and Easy 295, hold position.
The easiest thing to do with taxiing for the first time in some of these new aircraft is take your time. Manchester ground, we don't have anybody else online yet, so it's going to be 122.8. And that's green, so we can do takeoff config test.
Holding point Mike 1 for runway 23 right via Lima, Papa, Kilo and Juliet. Put on your own mask before helping
Juliet Echo.
It was a pretty funny situation, but we're going off. Thank you much for the ATC.
HT20, thanks so much. Have a great day, bye-bye.
Now the EFB is updated to show departing, which is really nice. It's a really smart EFB.
Roughly 490, hold position. Brake, Tronex 1 Alpha Mike, stand correction, stand 4-1, push and start is approved, straight push.
Push and start approved, straight push, 10x 1 Alpha Mike.
Lovely Osprey 737-700 over there. Alfie, it is the Luke Air tool. It's the one that every time you hear announcements on the channel here, it's usually going to be the Luke Air tool, which is a really cool bit of freeware.
Correction 288. After the EasyJet Airbus A320 passes from left to right.
Oh, fantastic. That's the one I did a video about the other day then, with the latest update.
What's that approach facing east behind the EasyJet Croatia 288?
Justin's asking, do you think we're likely to see sharklets on this aircraft anytime soon? I'm not sure. Really not sure.
Push and approve facing east, Tom Delta Mike.
Oh, it's a lovely model, isn't it?
Foxtrot Romeo 1279, after the EasyJet A320 passes from right to left, taxi holding point Mike 123 right via Golf and Juliet.
Gosh, that's cumbersome. Right.
EC 96 Foxtrot Charlie, unfortunately no further ATC. Monitor Unicom now 122.8, have a great flight, bye bye.
No problem, Monitor Unicom 122.8, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie. Thanks for the ATC, g'day.
See ya.
Yep. Going to be a lot of resetting views here today because it keeps jumping in. Loads of liveries, Paul, absolutely. We've I downloaded the 8K liveries initially, found frames a little heavy overall, so I've then changed now to the 4K liveries, don't notice any difference on quality, but performance is a lot better. Manchester traffic, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie at Mike 1, ready for departure, runway 23 right. Don't know if anybody's coming, so little announcement there. Yeah, we can't see anybody else, and that little text unicom thingy wasn't for us. So, lights as required. Manchester traffic, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie lining up, runway 23 right, taking off SONEX 1 Romeo departure, Manchester traffic. I find the strobes quite dim, as you can see on the wings here. That's one thing that I've noticed. Zeka's saying, how do you find the ground steering? Mine's aggressive with my rudder pedals. Any idea how to fix it? So just check your sensitivities and make sure that you've got a nice curve, nothing too crazy. But before you push back, make sure you go and do a full left, or before you taxi at least, make sure you do a full left and full right on the aircraft with your rudders and your ailerons to make sure that the sensitivities are all set. And then you get that beautiful rudder steering like this. Very exciting. Make sure that nose wheel gets centralised. Going to take a little screenshot. Jump back into the flight deck. And it's going to be nose down on the brakes a little bit. Let's get some engines spooled up. James, it's AIG traffic. Flex. The sounds are brilliant, aren't they? They're so good. 80 knots. Nice D-rated takeoff. And a rather heavy aeroplane. V1, rotate. Positive rate, go up. And we're going to go autopilot 1 on now, just passing 1,000 feet. Lever climb already. It's the first time using my keybinds, my throttle calibration for this, by the way, folks, as well, so you're seeing it live. And there is the wing view, look at that. Yeah, it's very quiet, Dan, actually, today. I feel like the latest update might have turned the sound down, perhaps, I'm not sure. Here comes the right turn. Get those flaps in. Automator, thank you, buddy. Yeah, really, fingers crossed. Almost 250 knots on the right turn. I find the emissives kind of lacking. I don't know why, but we've got, I mean, that's overhead lighting on max, including the dome light, and there's no difference really for that. And indeed, floodlights here for the main panel are on max, as are the centre pedestal, and we don't really see much else. Let's get the seats, so the spoilers disarmed. We're at 5 now. Oh, listen to those sounds. Now, this is my first experience of this aeroplane. First time properly flying it and giving it all a go with a full flight. Deputy Waters says, have to say, it looks fabulous. Yeah, ground handling, found absolutely fine. And the EFB, one of my favourite pieces here. Nice and quiet. 5,000 over the city of Manchester. We'll go up to 15 now. We'll go outside so you can hear the spool up noises now. Oh. Hear the sounds change. Very, very, very cool indeed. I can't remember if I actually fired Volanta up today. No, we didn't. We'll fire it up. Justin says, have to say the default views for the Fenix that are switchable from the controls, are not as good as fly-by-wire. Yeah, not experienced it too much so far, to be honest. Yep, split barrow, Graham. Indeed. But we're going to go to standard pressure now anyway. As you can see, it's blinking away. That's because they're split. So if you change this one, it doesn't change this one. It's another one of those cool features that they've added in flying over Sheffield Dock. We are indeed. Let's continue up to 37. Oops, not 49. Good grief. No music yet. Want to just enjoy the sounds. 10,000. Clit spots so far have been quite nice, quite easy to use. There goes the seatbelt signs.
Ladies and gentlemen, take full advantage of your tax-free allowances today and make some amazing savings with our boutique range. In your in-flight brochure, you'll find details of our award-winning selection of gifts, most with massive discounts, some of which are exclusive to you as an EasyJet customer.
Igor, yes, you will have to have a Navigraph subscription in order to have it work in the EFB. Here's the cabin, folks. Turn the seatbelt sign off, so it's extinguished on the overhead. Oh, my fat fingers. So we've got 8, 7. Little stutter there as we were saving the views. Oh, good grief. There we go. Let's go back to this side of the aeroplane, shall we? Because we had 4, 5. Hear those views change as well. We're in front of the engines now, and we're getting that louder noise. That was 4, wasn't it? No, it was 5. So the beauty of this is instead of changing those config file numbers like we had to do in the past, all we need to do now is just open the flight deck door and walk back into the cabin, and then we can just use our custom view save buttons to just select what we want, which is very cool indeed. Yeah, the default cockpit view, Paul, not great at all, is it? It's almost like we're midgets and we're right up at the front of the plane. Ashley, thank you for all of your support over the last week or so as well. Ashley and a few others, by the way, folks, have been working really hard to try and help me fix a lot of the problems with Microsoft Flight Simulator post Sim Update 9. I've ended up purchasing new RAM, so I've now got 64 gig of RAM because of the fatal memory error pop-up thing that we've all been getting, or quite a lot of people have been getting in the forums, including myself. Change page file settings, sound modes, all sorts of stuff. Change the graphics drivers. We've done a lot of things to try and stabilise this. That's a stunning view, isn't it? So far, it's all been very Airbus, in the sense that there's been no stress, there's been no, nothing to sort of intervene with and fight at the moment with the aeroplane. This is a cool feature. Stephen, we are on VATSIM indeed. Yeah, I love the tray table there when we get our in-flight meal. And if we go to this one, it gives us our status along the route. So like what you guys have at the top of your screen, you should be able to see the bar move with our progress of our journey so far. Now, you can see the little blue bit there, and that's showing us how far we've got to go, or our sort of status on our route along to Split today, and also we can view on the map. Jason, Manchester Tower and ground are on who do I call for clearance? You want to call Manchester ground. There's our route for today. Need to refresh the Fly Live studio again because once more it's broken. Andrew, welcome buddy. Now for those of you who haven't seen the Fenix before, I'm sure you have, because I'm probably one of the last streamers to actually have the chance on a day off to get around to showing it to you guys. But is there anything that you guys want to see or find out whilst we are streaming today? Just let us know in the live chat today and we will sort it out. Yeah, the displays are a little blurry, so what I've done is I've changed on the Fenix program. I've used GPU for rendering, and I've then also set favour performance over quality. So it does make them a little blurry, but I'm fine with that. If it keeps things as silky smooth as the PMDG 737, I am happy with that. Now there's the dash, even the screws, very nice textures on them. And looking down back across the flight deck, nicely detailed around the rear of the aeroplane too. And some incredibly cool animations. Are there cabin announcements, Fabio? No, none. You want to use something like the Luke Air tool for that. I mean, overall, I'm very impressed with what I've seen so far. There are a couple of things, like the way that the lights work. I don't seem to have particularly incredible emissives. That is as bright as it gets. But I guess at the same time, it's not a Neo, it's an older aeroplane. Justin's actually yet to find a top of descent calculator for the Fenix A320 on the EFB. Interesting. So you should have a top of descent marker in here. It certainly should be a pseudo waypoint within this. So you've got TC for top of climb. You should have a T/D, and that's your top of descent in your routes page, in your legs page. There it is. So basically when you hit that, that's when you want to start your descent. The window opens on the ground, Dan, which is cool. Yeah, don't let me forget that. Actually, I want to see that before, when we arrive into Split. They definitely need to change this custom view. I like it to be like that. When it's up here, it's a little bit too far forwards, and we can't see any displays. I know it's an Airbus, but we do need to see what we're doing. Paul, I don't have a TCA side stick, buddy. I've got the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flights. Alrighty, so let's open the flight deck. Interestingly, got a nice sound and animation. And as long as I click and hold, I can literally now walk back. Swissbit, welcome. VNAV's been spot on for Automator. Yeah, I have only heard really good things about it, to be fair. I love the cabin. I'm really looking forward to an Osprey Airways A320 livery. Tapsy is painting one. We're just waiting for it to be delivered out of the paint shop. What window view shall we set now? Ooh, I like that one. So we've done a few already. That's 8. Certainly easier to set, custom view wise, than the Flyby A320X and the PMDG 737 as well, because you can just walk through the cabin there. Josek is asking, how do you walk straight back? I need to use the arrows on the keyboard. So if you've got free look selected, I only discovered this the other day, press and hold the right mouse click, and then you can push forwards on your stick, on your joystick, and it will walk you forwards. Now it might be a default keybind within the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 that allows me to do it, that I've not discovered yet. But yeah, very nifty little feature. How are we doing? 37, we're at 20, flight level 270 and climbing slowly. And actually, it appears that we're going to be on Unicom most of, if not all the way. So that is fine by me. Yes, Bloom, that could be a good one. Andrew, what do you want to know about views, buddy? We should probably close the flight deck door as well for safety and security. This should open. There we go. Interesting. So if that whole thing is a click spot, how do we lower the seat? Perhaps we can't. Perhaps it just slides and that's where the animation ends. Dan, yeah, the tray table is pretty cool, isn't it? In fact, we've got 2, and I've just slid open the sun visor there too. It's very feature-rich, this aeroplane. Very feature-rich. There it goes, up there. And I think, there we go, these work too. I don't think there's one for this one. It's either on or off. There's no sort of middle ground with these. Cocolada, London Control is online, but we're not in their airspace. Oh yeah, definitely get the 4K liveries instead of the 8K. You'll find performance is significantly better for you. There's our little top of climb marker, just after Dolus. And there's the Norfolk coast. James, well, I work at Heathrow, but I don't speak. I don't fly for an airline or anything like that. Fabio, no ETA for the winglets version just yet, buddy. Hopefully soon. Keep smashing that like button, folks. What we got here? Yeah, just Gatwick and that sort of bit, sadly, for the London controller. I mean, the one thing that blows me away the most so far not only the EFB, but it's the sounds. And as GD's saying, you can actually link via your Wi-Fi network. You can link the EFB to a tablet so that it appears on the tablet, and you can configure everything on your tablet remotely, and it will then update automatically inside the EFB in the aeroplane, which is really cool. Anthony, morning. Love the plane, but it's taken some getting used to. I still can't bring myself to trust the top of descent marker. Yeah, but I mean, I've never landed this before. I'll say that now. I've never even been able to get towards approach, sadly, without the sim crash to desktop issue with Sim Update 9's hotfix. Andrew, is there Nightbot for the camera view program? No. All you need for the camera views in this is to just walk backwards into the cabin with whatever keybinds you have set to move your view around, and then you can save your custom views with the relevant keybinds for that too. Whether that be, for me, so for example, it's Control and Alt, and then the numbers at the top of my keyboard above the QWERTY. MPS, no worries, buddy. Dan, make some great contrails with this old Smoky Joe engines. We'll have a little look then. Yeah, we need to remember, as Jay's saying there, the fly-by-wire aircraft, the A320X, that is kind of what propelled Microsoft Flight Simulator into the sim it is now. A lot of people, including myself, stayed with Microsoft Flight Simulator because of fly-by-wire and all of their voluntary efforts creating the A320X, because it is remarkably good for what they've done. It's certainly nice that we have this as an option as well, the Fenix A320, because it's competition, isn't it? It's competition between payware versus freeware, and competition between A320s as well. So some of the features in this, fly-by-wire, have looked at it and goes, and pretty much have gone, oh, you know what, we want that in ours. So all of a sudden we have nice chocks and things in the latest versions of the fly-by-wire. So certainly they're all helping to produce an incredible sim experience. This against the 737, hard to compare. This is an Airbus and that's a Boeing. I find the 737 more immersive because there's more to do. Especially in the approach phases and the takeoff phases, there's a lot more to manage as a pilot and a lot more that can go wrong. So you're having to think further ahead, a bit more of a thinking person's aeroplane. This is very much, well, it's Airbus, so it's autopilot on, turn some dials and let it do it for you. Monitor. There's our first TCAS notification that we've seen on here. Anthony, exactly. If it wasn't for fly-by-wire, honestly, probably wouldn't be flying still. Indeed, some of the developers, Dan, have ended up in development roles with various other developers. Yeah, certainly we need to be pretty much forever grateful for the fly-by-wire team. I really enjoyed a lot of the QA testing that I was doing over the first 2 years. And I do kind of miss being involved with the team, actually. I am still marked up as part of the development team in their Discord, but I'm just don't have the time to give to the program anymore, which is a bit of a shame. Someone was asking how to change heading and speeds. So all you've got to do is twizzle the dial and then press the down button, and that will go into selected heading mode instead, like that. Or you can push it to go back into managed. You get the little circle dots. Same with speed as well. Yeah, and that's the other thing. It's down to cash availability. How much money do you have to put down on all of these add-ons? Do you want something different? In which case the PMDG 737 is a really good option. Or if you just love Airbus and you don't care about anything else, and you've got the same amount of money put aside, then this is perfect for you. They're both incredibly good. They are both incredibly good. Fly to Aurora terrain leveler detail. I think it's at 200, I believe, buddy. Chris, is there a way to have the 320 automatically latch onto the descent profile at top of descent automatically? No. You will need to change your altitude and then put it into managed mode. So it will still then manage the VNAV element for you. Almost at cruise now. Interestingly, I don't think any of the fly-by-wire team are at Fenix. GED. Yeah, Dan, you make a very good point there. So that's part of the issue. Over the last few weeks, we've had 4 incredibly good aeroplanes release pretty much all at the same time, within a few weeks. But we've got the Just Flight 146 Professional, insanely good aeroplane, really cool, looks fantastic, flies wonderful, sounds great. That released first, followed the next day by the Leonardo MD-82, the Mad Dog. So there was a frenzy to get both of those. Then instantly, about a week later, the PMDG 737 arrived, and then all of a sudden, the this arrived as well. So yeah, it's been a very expensive few weeks. Hi, hello, buddy, welcome. How you doing, boss? It's Lively. Good morning to you as well. Just bought the Fenix A320. Good stuff, I hope you're enjoying it. Recently purchased the PMDG 737-700 as well, fantastic. And wow, yeah, next is the H-Jet as well for now. That would be you. Paul, what would you rate this aeroplane out of 10 compared with the 737? Well, probably a few minutes. I'll probably need to complete the flight first and get a landing down as well to give it a go and work it out. But I think you get a lot more back from a 737 because of how much you have to learn and how different it is. Doc, do you want the good news or the bad news first? Ooh, I'd imagine the good news. No, I'd imagine the bad news is the fact that the call sign we were supposed to use is now disconnected. But it is a little bit too late. We're using a reserve call sign, folks. Ocean Boy was asking what flight stick or yoke are we using and what device. So I've got the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight kit, and that comes with a really nice yoke and also a very nice throttle kit as well. Matthew saying the sim is finally starting to become complete. Absolutely. What's the bad news and the good news then, Doc? Welcome to you, Matthew, as well. I hope you're well. Kai, I'm doing alright, boss. Does this happen to you? You land successfully, then the plane bounces up and nosedives? Good grief. No. You know what? I was saying a few minutes ago, I've not landed this yet. I've not flown an approach in this yet because I've not had the chance with all the crash to desktops. We will find out in about an hour and a half, Kai. You've got me worried now. It's about split, Doc. Runway change. Is it a more complex approach? Is it a circle to land? Because for me, that'd be good news. Not bad news. I love a challenge. Oh yeah, that's what I was looking at. We've got a company message. So I think it's in here. Trying to remember now. AOC. Receive messages. Load. There we go. The final load sheet. Lovely. Look at that. 0 fuel weights. Passengers 159 plus 6. Fuel in tanks and all that sort of stuff. I should have found that and accepted it at the time. That's the end of the load sheet. That's quite nice as well. It allows you to have that immersive real ops kind of feel to it all. And I'm not sure actually, because I'm sure it was like there was a thing with Orbx a while ago saying out now, split, and then some people have said that it's been out since August, so I'm a little confused. So I was asking, what are those 3 little transparent screens that appear just above the LHS dash? These are the window heat elements. So we have window heat selected on. They're going to be heating up that windshield. Look how dirty this is. You know what, actually, we want rain. We want to see those wipers clear that rain. First aeroplane in MSFS to be able to do that. Oh, Nicholas, if you had to choose to buy either the Fenix A320 or the PMDG 737, which would you choose and why? Oh, it's a really subjective question, isn't it? Because what you love might be very different to what I love out of simming. I mean, Nicholas, do you prefer Boeing or Airbus? Doc says change start to OKLAX 3 Delta and approach to RNAV visual 23. Roger, roger. Aviation simulation. Intentionally, I'm trying to avoid going out too much today because of the instability that you know I've been having. There's the cabin. Let's go up here. Actually, we're going to press and hold the right mouse click, and we can zoom on in. There is in the galley here. Oh, that's interesting. The doors aren't armed. Yeah, there is a galley modelled in with a coffee machine too, which is quite cool. Thankfully a reminder not to use it during takeoff, turbulence or landing. You'd like to hope they don't. Somebody said that you can see inside the overhead bins. It's a bit of a thing. Hear the sound change as we work through. Oh, David, wow. Get your foot down. Tavanaris, yes, on their Discord server there is a sim brief profile. There's the one thing I have noticed is some of the visual effects are a bit washed. So if we look here, you can see here the sort of the screens look like, or the windows look like they're really blurry. That's because of the visual effects from the back of the engines. Just going to save that custom view there. And let's jump outside for a bit. SimPilot, welcome. Nicholas says I like both, but if I had to choose, I'd choose Boeing. I think I might buy the 737 instead of the Fenix, since the A320X seems to be quite similar to the Fenix. Well, it's very different, but very similar at the same time, if that makes sense. It's still an Airbus. It's still an Airbus A320. Obviously, this is the older version with those less efficient engines, slightly noisier aeroplane as well. A little bit less powerful engines as well, I suppose. Oran, free view mode. How do you save the custom views? Kai is asking. So, Control Alt and then the buttons at the top of your keyboard above QWERTY. If you have those keybinds set for you to save custom view, you can do that. Yeah, it's tough. It depends on your budget, Nicholas. Ultimately, for me, if I was to give my fair and honest opinion, I love the PMDG 737. I love how complex it is, how much more you have to think ahead of it. But this is incredibly nice as well so far with my experience. So they're very, very similar with the levels of immersion and the complexity and the detail that you get from these, the two different add-ons. So it depends on your budget. They're both roughly the similar sort of price. But if you want one Airbus and you want a Boeing, then absolutely, I'd probably say get the PMDG for now, and then reassess when you've got a bit more saved up. Perhaps get the Fenix as well. Kai, yes, providing in the menu that your keybinds are set to it. We want to see some of those contrails, don't we? Big, fat, juicy contrails. Jay, Can you make a better landing tutorial in the future? I've been having a hard time landing. My landing gears do not like to touch the runway and they just slam onto the runway. Wow, look at those big juicy contrails. They are nice. Yeah, the visual effects could do with a bit of work, look. It's almost like we're in the Matrix. If I do that, it hides it, so I can take a juicy screenshot. Oshiboy, do you think the Thrustmaster T-Flight HOTAS would be a good flight stick? I'm a beginner and also use Xbox. So I think that's what I had initially before the Turtle Beach. I got on with it very well, but it's very basic. Yeah, as Zibby's saying, this is a lot more detailed, a lot more complex than the fly-by-wire A320X. But yeah, I think the variation is maybe nice. So if you're loving the A320X, and you haven't got either this or the PMDG 737, then personally for me, I'd probably say get the 737 first. If that's your kind of thing. But you've got to remember as well, PMDG are working on the 600 variant at the moment, then the 800 variant. So perhaps you might want to reverse the order and get this one first. So you've got the best A320 probably ever created, full stop, in any sim, as it stands at the moment. With a very supportive development team and a good price. And then wait for the 800 variant of the 737 from PMDG, which is coming around end of July, early August. And hopefully then you'd have enough money for that one. And that's your way to get both. Now what I'd really like to see, I mean, they've nailed this A320. Fenix have absolutely raised the bar. And I'd like to see them create an A321 next. Zibby, exactly. And I'm the same. The 737 from PMDG, probably my favourite at the moment. This is my first full flight with it, so I'm holding back from a reviewed opinion, if you like, until I've got a couple more flights under my belt and I've been able to make an informed decision as to whether or not I like it. I'm not going to say it's incredibly good, this is the best thing ever, until I've given it a good go. Same with the 737. I held back until I'd formed a decent opinion of it, understood how it all works, before then sharing my opinion with you guys. But this is incredibly good how it is at the moment so far. Touch wood. The PMDG 737, absolutely loving that. The Just Flight 146 is really cool. That's a really nice aeroplane, and they're all great in their own. Can't think of the word now. They're all really good. They all hold their own really nicely. So in that sense, I could recommend all of them, to be honest. But I've still not flown this one enough yet. It's certainly given us a lot of variety. They're all great in their own their own sort of their own cases. Oshibai would like to see an A380. That would be cool. I'm Leave. Where are we headed? The clue's in the title. Where do you think? We're headed to Split, Croatia. And at the moment, we are... Ooh, let's go to the other side. Is it this one? I'm trying to remember my keybinds now. Because Amsterdam is just rendering in below us. Ooh, hence the stutters. Very weird. Brett House, yes, this is... I actually installed the update for this morning, pre-stream today. There's Amsterdam. Look at that. If we go to this view, like that, Now that's a cool view. Try and capture it. Now. Boom. How's that? Love it. Amsterdam Schiphol. Tavanaris would love to see an Airbus A321 from Fenix as well. It is the Polderbahn. All saying, can the passenger cabin lights be turned off? I think they can, yes, in the EFB. We can explore it, of course. I don't want to click too much until we've got a little further away from Amsterdam in case it's going to cause a bit of a problem. Kai says, listening to the plane really brings back memories of being on the aeroplane. The sounds are just amazing. They are, aren't they? As you move, I love how you move around the cabin, the sounds change based on your positioning of the camera. But it's that drum sort of drone that you get from these engines, which is really nice. Amsterdam, I'm leave. Oh yes, but PMDG have said that they're bringing out a higher quality cabin in the future. They've also said pre-release of the 737 that an EFB was coming. They're working on a brand new EFB and their version 2 LNAV, though they're waiting for a Sobo to fix a couple of things before they bring that into the sim. So there's been a lot of, probably I'm going to say a lot of unfair criticism of PMDG from a lot of people, a lot of content creators as well, I have to say, slating PMDG rather unfairly for what is a very good aeroplane. An incredibly good aeroplane, a really enjoyable aeroplane as well. But they've been very transparent and very open with the development roadmap going forward through that 24-week support period that they talked about. So for people to then kind of slate it, I've seen lots of stuff over the forums and on the Fenix Discord from a lot of people basically trashing on PMDG, but they are the best. They are one of the best. I mean, there's a lot of tweaks to be made to this. We've already seen a few that I'd like to see sorted out, like the visual effects, the contrails. Britaus, do we have to uninstall the current version then install the new version? Nope, you can just download it through the Fenix program. You click update now, it will download the XE, and then you go through the whole thing. Jay's asking, how do you talk to ATC and fly at the same time while you're on approach, you're taxiing, you're pressing buttons and stuff, then pressing a hotkey? Do you use some other type of thing that makes it easy? So on my yoke, I press and hold a keybind that I've set to VATSIM's vPilot, and it's a push to talk button that allows me to work away doing everything else in the sim, flying the plane, managing the systems, whilst then reading back stuff to the air traffic controllers as well. I would like the nose diving on approach fixed. Oh, good grief. Gav, exactly. The value you get from both this Fenix A320 and the PMDG are incredible. And yeah, PMDG are going to update it to include the EFB in the future, to include a higher res cabin. So there's a lot of stuff to look forward to with the 737 going forwards. Really excited to see what their EFB, their new style EFB, is going to look out. Look at. What's the word? Wow. Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing what it looks like when they do release that EFB. Smokey saying the Wish Fenix has accepted PayPal. Andrew, exactly, yes. And as PMDG said on their forums, it's like an early adopters package, the 737-700, because you're getting the model for the first time. But they're also going to update it over the 24-week area. There is a 737 update due in the next few days as well. I think it was supposed to come on Friday, actually, I believe. But yeah, this week coming, by the looks of it, by the sounds of it, we're expecting another update from the the 737 leave. No worries, buddy. Wow, halfway already. So as we're flying along in the cruise, we can explore a few things. Customize aircraft, you can use airline settings and you can do a lot of stuff with it. You can basically change what you would like to see with the configurations of various systems on the aircraft, including the way what the standby instruments look like, and also the sort of airline specific things that might be in the aircraft. Oops. Like whether or not they have nav and go around selected as an option on the aircraft or not, and what your acceleration heights are too. Cabin lights, cabin visibility you can turn off, so you make it disappear. Cabin lights you can turn off as well, like so. So then it goes a bit darker. Certainly for those of you who like to fly night ops, one of your sort of pre-arrival checks could be to simulate the realism that would happen in the cabin. It could be to switch everything off like the cabin crew would on approach into a nighttime arrival. And then we have a dark one. Kai says, I don't think I'll be going back to X-Plane 11 to be fair, maybe for the A320 one, but my primary sim will now be Microsoft Flight Simulator. It is just stunning. Yeah, it is really nice, isn't it? And the fact we've now got three incredibly good aeroplanes, the Just Flight 146, the PMDG 737, and the Fenix A320 now has payware options, makes it really, really good indeed. I remember playing with this panel a lot. I spent 3 years as cabin crew on the A320s at BA. We had the old cabin MCP here, but we also then had an electronic one as well, which came through after a little while. Quite interested to see some of these features, little things modded around in the cabin. Oops. There was a floppy disk somewhere. No espresso for the for the espresso machine. It's no espresso instead of a Nespresso. Love it. Now there's no toilet, I don't think, but let's poke our head in. No, that's fine. Didn't expect there to be one. Let's dive back in and close the door. Security and all that. I mean, one thing I'm not sure about with this is the fact that you are having to run an external program alongside the sim, and it's just one other thing that can go wrong. With MSFS being, for me at the moment, the most unstable it's ever been. But I don't think we need to worry too much about it. I think what Fenix have created with the way all of this works is quite special. Ocean Boy using all of the world updates, indeed. Kester, welcome aboard. Thanks for subscribing. Paul Noah's Billy, have a good one. Yeah, the Aerosoft CLJ as well. That's a very good aeroplane. Still one of my firm favourites. That's grayed off, look. Section can only be used on the ground, so there's no risk of accidentally clicking anything there. Very nice. In the pilot brief section, Anthony, you know what? It's one of those features I've never used. Click here to import your latest SimBrief OFP. There we are. So we can load everything up in here from SimBrief and have a good look through. This is the best EFB that I think I could... I mean, I couldn't have even... If somebody said to me a few months ago, there's a payware aircraft coming soon, what do you think the best EFB for it would look like? I probably wouldn't even be able to visualise something like this, but it is remarkably good. Works very well, it seems very smooth, it's very easy to use, very intuitive, very professional looking as well. There's our weather data. There's the TAF and the METARs and stuff for Castello, which is Split Airport. Whoops, that's the mic. And again, in my video that I did the other day, I showed you that's where the in the documents bit here, where the Fenix user guide lives. If you have to refer to that at any point during the flight. The MD-80 Cali, well, you know what, I don't have it myself, to be honest. From what I've seen so far, whilst the simulation is very good, I think Leonardo are missing a lot of things like good sounds, good textures. And for me, that kind of stops me getting it. It's also exceptionally expensive. It's still the most expensive aircraft add-on in MSFS, the MD-80. Nowhere near as complete as the Fenix A320 or the PMDG 737. But almost twice the price, with the tax included. Because in the UK, it's 90 euros for the Leonardo MD-82. That's a lot of money. But Aristocrat, to be honest, I don't think you can compare the two. One's an Airbus, one's a Boeing. Like Sim explained, this will not be available on Xbox. You only have to ask once. I can read the live chat. Okay, that's a lot of times. You can have a timeout. Okay, so this is the landing performance calculator then. What are we expecting here? Let's refresh the METAR. So winds 240 at 8, Cav OK 26 degrees, 70 degrees, QNH 1011. How do you find the landing weight? Well, I think Airbus will calculate it for you, I think. LDSP, runway 23, we're expecting dry. Landing weight, aircraft config. Oh.
Köln-Bonn traffic, Lufthansa 3 Lima Papa, ALS 14 left, 22 miles final.
Flaps 3 or full flaps, idle no reverse, max reverse, auto throttle on, low auto brake. So yeah, we need to work out what the landing weight is going to be. So for that, we're going to go into the pilot brief. There we go. Estimated landing weight 63.1 tons. $63.1. There we go, in it goes. So we can use the estimated. That's as good as we're going to get. And if we apply the METAR here, for an example, it's going to show us how much of the runway we need. So I think it looks to be a short runway and split by the looks of it. And we need to do OKLAX 3 Delta, which is that one, and approach runway, RNAV visual runway 23, and the taxi charts, airport information, 2,550. So it's showing us that we're going to use most of the runway. Well, actually, if we now go to medium auto brake, you can see there that the distance for landing recalculates. So we'll go for medium auto brake, 63.1 tons with a manual landing and full flaps. Mm, 2100. Yeah, we'll do max reverse and auto throttle on. Anthony, no worries, buddy. So the good thing is you can ask a question during today's live stream, and as I'm trying to learn some of the bits of the aeroplane that I've not yet been able to sort of figure out, it's making me look into it. Offset, that's cool. We could try that one day. On our visual runway 23. Which is that LS key. Just going to check it against the charts here. Wowzers, that's a complex approach. Obstacle clearance during the visual parts of the approach is the responsibility of the pilot flying, and after receiving clearance to execute the RNAV visual runway 23, the pilot flying is expected to A. Not later than passing Rorca, must be with visual reference to terrain with minimum visibility of 10 kilometers and ceiling above 2,500 feet, and to continue with visual part of procedure, or B. From Rorca follow the prescribed instrument missed approach procedure for the RNAV visual runway 23. Wowzers. Right, yes, the panel save bug. Very, very frustrating. So, RNAV visual runway 23, OKLA 3 Delta. And that looks like to be OKLA 3 Delta, so it's 19 DME via Molu, Oskol, and then Lassel. NUPSO, OKLAX, and Molu. Speed limit points, Oskol, some more pseudo waypoints, Lassel. So we go to Navigraph now, and I'll put both up on the screens so you can see both. We're inputting this arrival procedure here. So OKLAX all the way around in this little VOR DME arc as well, so we're going to put the aeroplane to the test actually with this particular approach, because we're going to make it fly a instrument arc, 17 DME around the split VOR, then step into a 13 DME arc, then step into Lassel, which is the initial approach fix down here. And it says expect radar vectors into the RNAV. So from Lassel, we're then doing the downwind leg 038 degrees up to Rorca. So Sierra Papa 509, Nurat, Rorca, overfly marker on Rorca, SP 502. Ah, that's interesting. Okay, well that's the missed approach, that's why. Yep, so up to Rorca, then the autopilot comes off and it's a manually flown approach, and all the blue there is our missed approach, which is this box going out here, up to SP 503 and back towards Lassel for the hold. A couple of fixed rings here, we've got 10 DME and 5 DME, we'll put both of those in. The 10 DME fixed ring around the split VOR is exactly where Lassel is, which is going to be quite handy to see as a visual reference, I think. So we go flight plan, EVELI, fix info, Sierra Papa Lima. And it's split 1157, so actually it's the furthest one away. We'll put that in like so. Radius 10. And then we'll add a second split fixed ring. And I'll do 5. And the reason why I've done the 5 is because where Sierra Papa 504 is here, we can see that it's just on the edge of this 5-mile fixed ring. So it's going to help me visualise this base leg onto short finals. It's a very short finals actually, good grief. So we'll be fully configured pretty much. What does it suggest at Rorca? 3000 at Nurat. Doesn't suggest any altitude at Rorca, so we'll have a little look and see what it gives us. Format error. 5, there we go. Rorca is suggesting 1,887 feet there with VNAV. RadNav. We want the Fenix NDB 418. Let's put that in. Might stick that into ADF2. And then we're going to use split 1157. SPL / /. The other Sierra Papa Lima is the one at Amsterdam. So if you click the wrong one, you'll have the wrong stuff on here. But 418 DVN. And VOR2 is updating as we fly along to track the nearest VORs to us. VATSIM explains, saying, why do most aircraft come out on PC and not Xbox? Because it's an entirely different sim experience. ZKA, could you show your sim settings in the EFB? Is it this one you mean? Let's hide Navigraph. I don't want to click that because I don't know where it's going to take us to. But you can increase the brightness, which will help with the sort of bloom and everything as well. But yeah, they do need to change that default view. Jay, wow, member for over 13 months, Gold Frequent Flyer buddy. Thank you very much for all of your support. Saying 1 year with the best community in flight sim. That's really nice to hear, thank you. And as always, thanks for the great content. You're most welcome. Doc says you can add those visual waypoints into the MCDU. You can, but I can never remember how. Stefan, welcome on board. Can this do RNAV approaches? I don't fly them because they scare me, Anthony's asking. Yeah, it certainly can. You have to know between which ones are LNAV and VNAV, or which ones are LNAV only, so then you can kind of brief yourself and work out what's going to be required. One of the other charts, I'll bring it up here. So if we go in from, where are we? So we're going to do the OKLA 3 Delta, which is this, with a step arc, going from 17 to 13 DME, then into LASL, then the RNAV visual, this straight line 038 to Rorca, descending down to 1,800 feet, was it roughly? Then it's going to be autopilot off and hand flying the rest. So we're going to manually fly this in from Rorca all the way around into Split. But there is an additional chart which assists us. So from Rorca, it's going to look something like this. And we've got a lot of different things to help us here. So Sierra Papa 507, we can add that in. Do not cross DME 4.6 from Split. And then 1.4 nautical miles is where we should be ideally starting to go wings level to runway 23 for our final approach in. And there's the go around procedure if we do absolutely cock it up. And there's the Tregear NDB as well, 378. So actually let's tune that one in as well. .378 with TRI is the 3-letter code, which is TRI, that one. And it'll be that one there. The other one's 4,000 plus miles away. So it always, if it's going to list multiple, it will give you the closest of the two. Keep smashing that like button as well, folks. Today it's been a week since we last live streamed, actually, with all our technical problems. Doc says low auto brake is enough. David says the default view is more realistic in my opinion. But in the sim, you can't see anything. In real life, you can just glance your eyes down. Or if you're in VR, this might be okay, but to do that all the time, bearing in mind on approach, you want to see the instruments in the sim. Makes it difficult, doesn't it, having this? Aristocrat loving the loading screens for the highlights of the Fenix. Yeah, when you're spawning in, some of the tooltips are very cool, aren't they? Some of them have definitely made me chuckle. Gets the excitement going as well as yeah, when you're reading through those on the way in, there's a little bit of comic value to it as well. It gets you looking forward to the flight ahead with the Fenix A320. Chris says, do you have a graphics and performance setting video for the Fenix? Tough one, actually. Tough one. It depends what system spec you've got, ultimately. And I think, at the same time, you definitely want to go into the Fenix program and set your graphics render to favour performance over quality. And you'll then get a slightly blurred PFD and nav display, but you get much better performance out of it. Ooh, there's somebody about to fly over us. We might. Hey there. There he is. Just there. Don't know if you guys can see, but we've got an aeroplane on the left-hand side of the screen, tight with the tail. Just going behind us. There he is. Yeah, the visual effects need sorting out. I mean, look at that super blurry wing texture stuff. It's very weird looking. Just got a 10900K, 3090, 32 gig of RAM. Wow. In the Fenix program, do you have it rendering the displays on the CPU or the GPU? I found if I had it on the CPU, I was getting stutters, frames per second problems. Found it very, very laggy indeed. But when I changed it to GPU, so it ran off my 2070 Super, my frames went up to that 35 again, which is where my sim is capped at. Beeline Pilot, weird. Have you made sure that you've got the keybinds in your sim settings rendered to it, fixed to that same set of keybinds? GD's just landed safely in Glasgow. Next flight will be on VATSIM. Awesome, exciting. It's great to see that you feel ready for it as well. Always nice to have new pilots on the network to fly with us all. Where's your first flight going to be? That's the question. Oh, we got another TCAS alert. He's going the opposite direction. So actually, we've got a guy that's about to fly. Let's see if we can spot him. Ooh, is that him? Right in front of us. He's only 1,000 foot above. He's literally going to go straight over the top of us. Hope I can catch this. Oh, he's going that way now. There he is. Maybe just about to see him. Just in my view, so you guys might not see him. Middle of the screen. Oh, it's a very busy airspace. There he goes. Zipping along behind us. Love it when there's aeroplanes flying around on VATSIM. Makes you feel realistic. Doc says that one was Speedbird 621 Charlie flying back to Heathrow. Colin says mine runs smooth as with the screens on CPU, better than GPU. Yeah, I think you just have to find which one works best for you and then go with it. Pack, yeah, you know what, I didn't know that until I learnt it from the Fenix load screen, and that it's made out of, was it 81% airplane, 19% aircraft. Christopher, probably. Probably. I don't know, it wasn't me. Surprised we made it this far, touch wood, we can make it. Elon Pilots, was thinking the same. What, more than 1,000 people have flown the A320, yeah, they are very cool, aren't they? Nice little bit of humour into the loading screen. I mean, what you guys are going to end up seeing is my first ever descent, my first ever approach, and my first ever hand-flown landing visual approach into anywhere in the sim with the Fenix A320. We can unplug the leads, and down here it's disappeared. Inside here you can open this, you can have a look at the oxygen masks as well, which is a very cool feature. And we could get that cable back again. You can click that to get rid of the EFB if you do want to hide it. And by the way, if you press and hold the thumb print, oh there we go, just hover over it for a few seconds, it will unlock itself, but you can go 0000. Luke says, how are you able to choose between CPU or GPU to run parts of the sim on? So it's not the sim that you're running it on, it's actually within the Fenix A320 program, the developers have allowed you to decide how you want the screens, the primary flight display, the nav display to render. So they've created the ability for you to decide based upon your system whether or not you get better performance from it rendering from your CPU or from your GPU, and you can choose between the two of them, which is quite cool. Seb had his first random failure today in the Fenix A320, a decompression. Awesome. How did it go? Extremely rare though, so hopefully you don't get another one. Ah, Doc, very weird. Yeah, I was told the code was 0000. There's the airport displays on the nav display. And the nearest VORs and NDBs. That's a really nice, the instant switching actually between all of them. Very impressed with that. Well, within here it's got ACAS and stuff like that as well, so you can speak to controllers. If we were flying through an en route sector at the moment, we can connect through this and then ACAS would come alive, which again is a very cool feature, and it's part of the package included that you get with the Fenix A320. Charlie tried the Fenix yesterday, amazing aircraft. Annoyingly I keep getting those memory errors. I do as well. I've ended up tweaking a lot, so I don't know what seems to have fixed it so far, touch wood. But at the moment, we're the furthest I've ever been able to fly without an issue. ADC delay, if you're going to divert, you can send a message to ops to tell them that you're going to divert. You can also request weather in your destination airfield too, or even the TAF. So we go LDSP for split, and then LDSP, put it in the box, and then we're going to select METAR and TAF. So we're going to ask for the current weather at the airfield, the vicinity of the airfield, followed by the terminal aerodrome forecast as well. Terminal area forecast. So fantastic, went well, followed the ECAM actions and diverted, and that's the beauty of Airbus, because it gives you a lot less to think about. When the data comes through, we'll get company message, again similar to the A320X. One thing that's very cool with this, I noticed when you do spawn in on a livery, when you're not connected to the Fenix program, your cell cow will just be blank. When you actually connect to the Fenix program and the aeroplane comes alive and it activates, you will then see the cell cow area automatically go in. Yeah, we've got a lot of good arrival airports and options here, except for Innsbruck. We're approaching the Alps there in the distance, and Innsbruck's kind of through there, over Munich soon by the looks of it. That'll be down there somewhere. Have we got a company message yet? Nothing yet. Look at that, arrival message. That's very cool. There's a lot to explore in this. It would certainly get a lot, it would take a bit of time getting used to all the different functions available in it. It's very different. Whilst it's very similar to the A320X, it is also very different. There's the failure options and the maintenance of the aircraft too. And your controls config is where you calibrate your throttle, like I showed in the video the other day. In fact, you can increase the null zone as well. Felix asking, as someone without the PMDG or the Fenix A320, which would you recommend? I'm leaning towards the 737 because it's just some variety, even though this looks slightly more in depth from what I've seen. So they're both exceptionally good. Both incredibly good at what they do. Both very well detailed, nicely simulated. Stunning pieces of development magic. So really it's a question of whether or not you'd prefer flying an Airbus that's very complete or a 737 that seems very complete. Both of them are missing things like weather radar because of the limitations of the sim at the moment, but both of them will add it in the future. GD says, I've noticed that below your secondary horizon / QNH, it is blank. Yeah, I have a VOR dial with a DME selector. Yes, down here. I think that's in here. Where would it be? Fenix. Gee whiz, don't click that in flight. I got a horrendous stutter just then. Okay, well I'm not going to mess around with that then. I feel like you change that standby instrument there and it will change the options available to what you get between those. And you can then obviously get an older version as well. Dan, hello buddy, going well so far, touch wood. Don't want to jinx anything just yet, but yeah, the furthest I've been able to fly in a week, that's for sure. Anthony says, where can you find the codes to send to ops for a late takeoff or something? I can't seem to find them. I've got no idea. Yeah, Felix, they're both incredibly good. So it depends. I guess the beauty of the options at the moment is that you have the PMDG 737 the 700 has been released, but we know in the future we've got the 800 coming as well. So you've got to decide if you're looking at getting both. Would you rather have? Oh, I'm getting some weird stutters now. Would you rather have the Fenix A320 as it is at the moment, or would you have? Would you rather have this PMDG 737-700? I'll tell you what, I know Munich's coming up, but I can see out the corner, if I look by this sort of suction cup pad here, I can see every now and again, unless it's my brain making me paranoid, I can see some stutters coming in, which is rather worrying. Although, for now it seems to have settled, so perhaps it was rendering in... Oh, there we go. Stuff like this makes me very nervous. Yeah, it depends. If you are happy to wait for the PMDG 737-800, then this is a perfect option. But it does depend entirely on what you want out of your own experience in the sim. They're both exceptionally good at what they do, and they're both wonderfully detailed. After ALIVO there, you can see our top of descent marker, but that's in over 300 miles now. Oops, fat fingers. There's Munich. Cocolada is going to be a busy landing and split with plenty of arrivals from different directions. Good stuff. Anthony, where can you find the codes to send to ops for a late takeoff? And in response to that, Andrew said bottom right of the tablet. Oh, delay allocation card. Oh, there we go. God, there's loads. First time looking at this. ATC delays. 3 different ones there. En route slot delay, that's cool. There's a good one. Below engineering delays, simulator restart. Well, that's one that we often need, isn't it? Smooth flying, hello, welcome. Tug broken. We need one for sim broken, don't we? Or delay allocation card, sim update 9. Operational delays. New route, ATC assigned, that's cool. So actually, if you're spawning in and you're watching your on-time departure close in and you're T-5 from pushback and all of a sudden the runway gets changed, therefore you need to add in a new standard instrument departure or something like that, then you'll need to add in the operational delays bit, new route ATC assigned, for example, or other. But anything else. Honestly, I'm so impressed with that AFB. That's one of the big pluses to this. Christopher, did you read that post by the president of VATSIM? I think he just scared away a bunch of noobs. No, I haven't. What did he say? Never good. Cocolada's got 15 departures from his fantastic freeware Oslo Garderman scenery that he's uploaded onto flightsim.to. Thank you for that. Mostly heading to sunny Alicante. Very nice. Christopher says he gets about 35 frames per second at Brussels, the Aerosoft Brussels with the Fenix. That's very good as well. Rackon, how stable is the Fenix? It seems very good. Yeah, of course there's some teething issues or some sort of things that I'd like to see improved, like some of the visual effects. But the sounds, the system depth, the complexity, the simulation, the immersion, very good so far. That EFB is very impressive as well. The sounds are remarkably nice. Stability wise, I've not experienced any problems so far, touch wood. Though we are getting some strange behaviour in the sim at the moment with some stutters, so we are monitoring that. It could well be the fact that we are coming into the Alps, so it's trying to render in all this terrain, and it's also then rendering in Innsbruck because we're flying near to Innsbruck as well, and a few other bits. MPS Gaming, welcome. Well, we're still airborne, that's always a good thing. Oh, Christopher, thank you, buddy. Let me reach my phone, I'll have a little look. What have we got here? It's about some topic. Those of you with the Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight, I found it very easy to configure these, the throttle and the yoke to these. Let's have a little read of this VATSIM director's announcement. Christopher says has scared some noobs away. Blink is not coming to Xbox, sadly, and it's exclusively only available on fenixsim.com as well. Pilot competency and network use. Wow, this is a big post, isn't it? I mean, in short, I'm not going to read all of this. There is a lot to this post, but the VATSIM board of directors, or the VATSIM president, sorry, has said in 2010, blah blah blah, bought my first PMDG product. Brilliant, well done. There's been much discussion in various mediums recently about issues on our network relating to pilots using aircraft they're unable to properly operate, which in turn causes disruption on the network. We've been monitoring this. As PMDG, Leonardo, Fenix and other companies bring their newest and most advanced product to MSFS, it's important to remind users VATSIM is an environment for virtual pilots and virtual controllers to come together to simulate the real world of aviation. Then he says the absolute prerequisite to this is that pilots must know how to fly and properly control their aircraft before connecting to the network, which is fair enough. For these advanced aircraft, this is not limited to just knowing how to fly an airspeed, a heading and an altitude. If you're flying with advanced automation, you must also know how to use that automation. In almost every case, violating an ATC clearance and blaming it on your autopilot doing something you didn't expect is a pilot problem, not a simulation problem. That's fair enough as well. I mean, it goes on to a little bit of a, almost like a noob bashing. The VATSIM Board of Governors is currently working on updates to our Code of Conduct to codify a stricter requirement for pilot competency upon the network. Additionally, a pilot feedback program is in final stages of development that will assist controllers in providing meaningful advice and education to pilots through our training department. Supervisors and administrators will be continuing to work hard to assist members. If you connect to the network and are unable to adequately control your aircraft, you will be removed from the network and asked to increase your skill offline before reconnecting or connect with a less advanced aircraft that you can adequately pilot. Ignoring these requests may require us to remove your ability to connect to the network for a period of time. Wow. So it sounds like some people have got a little bit fed up. In fairness to him, I can kind of understand the frustration. It's... there have been occasions where I've connected to the network and I've heard people on, say, like an en route sector saying, oh, I've got this problem, but it's the autopilot's done it. So I can kind of understand it, because if you're going to bust a constraint or you're going to do something required by ATC, you need to understand how to do it, what they're requesting you to do, or sort of instructing you to do. I guess they're then expecting you to just execute it as you should be able to do. in a complex aircraft like this or the PMDG 737. But there also has to be an element of acknowledgement that people want to learn on the network and increase their skill sets. Not everybody flies to the same high standard as some of the people that are complaining, I guess. And also, even those of us who have done it for a long time, we all make mistakes. I mean, I've made some atrocious mistakes sometimes, but this isn't real life. It is at the end of the day. At the end of the day, it is a game, isn't it? And that's what some people need to remember. But hey ho, as long as we enjoy it and we all help each other out, that's the main thing. That's the whole point, reason why I've done tutorials and all that sort of thing. But I think they could have maybe worded it in a little bit of a friendlier way. I guess their argument is going to be, well, the onus is on the pilot connecting to the network to make sure they know how to operate it, how to use the radios, and how to do stuff required by ATC. Hey Matthew, you're always welcome to fly along with us. Here comes my first bit of Fenix A320 turbulence. Let's get the seatbelt signs on. Ladies and gentlemen, the captain has now switched on the seatbelt signs. That's quite cool. I do like that. That's a very neat feature. There will always be a learning curve, GD. Exactly. Every day we fly on the network, there is some sort of learning that takes place. But as David's saying, whenever you do get a new aeroplane, even I as well, will try and fly offline and try and do a few things that I'm not sure about to understand how the aeroplane will work, whether it be taking off and flying a little hold, doing some vectors, self-vectors, and sort of playing with the systems. We've got an aircraft on TCAS that's just popped, 1,000 below, and he's going across the aircraft. In fact, there's his contrails. Oh yeah. Other side. Oh, look at that. Now if we get the screenshot machine ready, just put some extra film in. Oh my god, what was that? The photogrammetry down there looks remarkably good. Just waiting for him to cut through now and appear. Yeah, but I guess one of the problems is when people will arrive, will connect to the VATSIM network who they've got a new aeroplane, they don't really know how to fly it, they're quite new to the network, so they're still working out how the whole network works, but then they'll connect to something like Midweek Madness, or something like that, and it's just, it's too busy, way too busy. There's his contrails. Off he goes. Looks like he's going a bit more south, maybe towards sort of Spanish airspace. Digdurif, welcome on board. Corsica, bonjour. Digdurif saying it would be great to have more events for new pilots on VATSIM. I want to jump on, but waiting for the new First Wings event, which is only in June. Well, if you feel like you're prepared, you feel like you understand a lot of the phraseology from controllers, and you know, and you're quite confident with the aeroplane that you want to fly on VATSIM for your first flight, then go for it. That was Monarch 9056 flying to Birmingham. Very nice. From Skiathos. Great choice of route. It is intense the first time you connect Mantoga, absolutely. I remember having not been simming for years and years and years. I'd first connected with a mate, very early days of the channel. I didn't record it, I didn't live stream any of it, but I very quickly found myself nervous before I pressed that push to talk button. Yeah, I guess one of the problems with VATSIM is some people take it extremely seriously, and then berate people for getting it wrong, where there should be more of an emphasis on supporting people that are just trying. Let's get rid of that. You know, some people just try their best, and that should be praised, it should be celebrated, it should be encouraged. We all make mistakes. yeah, a lot of controllers can talk way too quick. But there is a lot of, oh, I don't know what my autopilot's doing, and that's not great on VATSIM, or indeed on IVAO or any of the other networks, because there's, they are designed to kind of try and simulate the real world as much as possible. Oh, it's very busy to the right hand side. Got another TCAS thing pop up now. This is the first time I'm getting some turbulence in the aircraft as well. But we should be coming out the other side of the Alps soon. I think most controllers know people are people try their best on VATSIM. Most people don't connect to muck about and cause problems. And I say most people because sadly sometimes we've had it on stream here. In fact, we've had people kind of trolling the stream and trying to cause problems as well. And I've had DMs from controllers asking, "Is this person flying with you?" But they're not. They're just doing their own thing. So in that instance, I can understand where the frustration comes from. But it's still a free network. It's still a game, and it's still a community where we should be kind of helping each other out. There are some people that know a lot about aviation, real ATC, real pilots, people that have got knowledge that they're willing to share with other people. And like we were saying earlier, there's always something to learn on VATSIM, whatever that might be. Every time we sim, there's something that we pick up on that we might not have done before, that slightly improves our experience and that of those around us. When it's very busy though, it can be quite problematic when people start to muck about and then they blame their autopilot. Which is why it's really ideal to sort of, if you are connecting and you're getting used to the network and you want to do some sort of new training flights on the VATSIM network, connect to smaller airports where there is a lot less traffic. Perhaps just start with 1 or 2 controllers. A lot of people dive straight into Gatwick, they dive straight into Heathrow, Manchester, and if they end up with like a queue of 10-15 pilots, it becomes a problem. And then you can, if you're a new pilot on the VATSIM network, it can become a fairly stressful experience as well, I think. There's an aeroplane over here somewhere. PA, you've been on VATSIM since 2003 and still learning. Exactly. We all cock things up every now and again, don't we? It's absolutely fine. There's an aeroplane over there. Just see his, in fact there it is. Right at the tip of my cursor. There's a little set of nav lights and some strobes flashing. God, look at that dash. It's incredible. Calculada. If you create Chisinau train station, I will get the Hype 145 and I will land next to it and I'll take a screenshot. Matthew, it depends. It depends. Some center controllers won't control below a certain altitude, so then in that case you'd use Unicom. The beauty of aviation is there is a standard across the world which all the pilots in real life will work towards sort of maintaining. On VATSIM that isn't there, but we're constantly trying to achieve that standard. We're trying to sort of be consistent with what we can do on the network, and we've got to help other people out in learning rather than putting people off. For that, we've got a double TCAS. So he's there. There's an aircraft going the opposite direction that way somewhere, but we can't see him. He's a little bit too far away. Louise, welcome. Hope you're okay. Condor 8 Victor Charlie off to Dusseldorf. Yeah, see, VFR I find very challenging, and I do that in real life, but I find it very tough on the network. I find VATSIM's not very well configured to the VFR side of things. It's very much all about tube liners, isn't it? There's a huge emphasis on it. Matthew, stick at it, stick at it. Don't let statements like that put you off. Just give it a go. I do find it's better to use mic on VATSIM as well for the first time, rather than text. I find, so some people might think I don't want to use my voice because I might mess things up, but that's fine if you do. If you're using text, that seems to be very popular today as well. There's a lot of text stuff going on Unicom at the moment, but I find that takes a lot of time up when you're trying to fly the plane, manage the systems, and do everything else, and you're then having to type what you're doing into the text box of the vPilot. It takes a lot of extra time, whereas you can fly the plane whilst pressing the push to talk button, and you just say what you're doing. Even if it's not exactly the phrasing you need, it's easier. Yeah, Zibby, that's a fantastic example of people on VATSIM, controllers, and that being supportive. Yeah, another option, as Scott's saying, you can join a virtual airline. Fly UK, for example, who we're a part of, do a lot of stuff. There's a lot of resources on their website. Matthew, it's AIG. Smooth flying, nice. Works at Landvetter. Road to Fib as well, saying spend some time on VATSIM connected as an observer. You know, when you log in, you can tick the box saying connect in shared cockpit mode. You click that. You don't announce anything because you can still transmit. You don't want to do any of that. You just listen. Just use it to listen. Get used to changing the frequencies as you go through takeoff and that sort of thing. Yeah, depending on which country you're flying through as well, you get different qualities of controllers. Some more patient than others, some more serious than others. 12 arrivals into Split, very nice, seems very popular. So we're getting a little closer to top of descent, 80 miles to go. Rather choppy all of a sudden for some reason, not sure why. We will run back through Navigraph. Keep smashing that like button as well. So we're going to descend down to OKLAX, which is 25 miles northwest from the Split VOR. We're going to get to 19 DME. We're then going to fly a 17-mile arc around the Split VOR before then stepping in slightly from Amolu to a 13 DME arc through Oskol and then into Lassel. Andres, welcome. From there, at Lassel, we're going to be at 4,000 feet. That's the initial approach fix. We're going to make our way in 038 degrees to Rorke, descending down to about 1,800 feet or so, at which point we're going to turn the autopilot off and we're going to fly in. I need to update this fix ring actually as well, because from Rorke we're going to be flying a visual approach, which is going to look like this. And I've not done this ever in the Fenix A320, so this is a first, very exciting. Do not cross 4.6 DME split, so we're going to update the fix ring that I've got, which is 5 miles, to a 4.6 DME fix ring instead. high and mountainous terrain north and northeast of the aerodrome, which is what we're basically flying towards. On the charts as well, you can see these train tracks. So hopefully we might get visual reference to that. We can use that to assist us for the visual approach as well. So we can try and pick out some of these reference points. There's some beacons over here, look, one with a light on it, high intensity light, 516 feet. We can try and look for those, we can try and look for the train tracks. And we've got a couple of roads as well which might assist us. And some power lines. .6. After the landing on runway 23, we're going to try and vacate at Alpha and then into the stand to park up on one of these stands in front of the terminal. Most likely we've got the Orbx split airport, which is very nice. One of the nice things about this scenery is the fact that they've also added in a number of landmarks around the city. What do we want? Fix rings. Fix info. 4.6. See if it can put it in. Oh, it's rounded it to 5. That's fine. Suggesting we've only got 20 minutes to go. If we go to this side of the aircraft, that button, there we go, there's the coast. Oh, Josh Foxtrot, I want to get into flying IFR with airliners, but I don't know if it's better to get the Fenix A320 or the PMDG 737. Well, the Fenix A320 is also still a very complex airliner, still really nicely detailed, but it's an Airbus, so it's a little easier to learn, and there's a lot less physical management involved as well. Mantoga says, I had an excellent controller in Denver Center the other day. I intend to look when he is on and fly over there again. Fantastic. Smooth flying, absolutely. In fact, for London City fans, I've been pushing Orbx to try and update their London City to reflect the new terminal, and they have said that they have a list of airports they're working through at the moment for departures, reading the live chat, for updates to fix it all. Andreas, how about the frames on the Fenix A320? He's got the PMDG 737. It's very friendly on frames. I think for me the frames are better on the PMDG 737 still. At the moment my sim is about 30 frames per second on this, but it does keep going up to 35, which is where it's capped. We can see our top of descent marker there. So as we cross that, we're then going to set 4,000, and we can see our fixed rings already input there too, as we make our way towards our final destination of Split. It looks like we're on Unicom most of the way. So, OKLAD 3 Delta arrival, the RNAV visual runway 23 approach. What we can do is go into here. We can go to My Flights. And we can go to our METARs and click over to the arrivals there, and we can get the latest QNH, the Lotus METAR from Split Airport. Fenix have not input purchase with PayPal yet. Doc, have I input descent wind to... No, I haven't actually, thank you buddy. 2309. And QNH 1010. Wow, balmy 27 degrees Celsius. Minimums for the approach on the charts. I'm just going to dig them out and have a little look. Interesting. MDA 2000, there we go. We want full flaps for the landing config. Descent winds. You know what, actually, we can do wind request. Let's try this. Never done this before. Upgrade is online, divert, love it. Uplink, insert, there we go. So we've just done our wind updates, and actually it's moved our top of descent forwards, look. So what we want, we're on manage mode, so let's just get the scroller down. We'll set 4000 for now, we'll see what happens. We're going to test the VNAV. Swamp gets an extra 20 frames per second in the PMDG. Wow. I'm guessing you don't have yours capped then in that instance. Got the seatbelt signs. Whoops. If you're new to the channel, please do click that subscribe button while you're here. Hopefully you're enjoying today's first ever Fenix A320 stream that we've done on the channel. Really pleased, actually, rather relieved so far that the sim's working nicely. We've had a couple of stutters, but to be honest, I was actually quite concerned that we were going to have a rather unstable sim experience today. Very excited to say that so far, with a couple of stutters still now affecting us, we're doing alright. Our first ever experience of the Fenix A320 with a visual approach coming up as well. Very exciting. What could possibly go wrong? Oh dear. Anyway, there's the METAR anyway, so we know the temperature's nice and hot. We've got the QNH of 1010. And here comes top of descent. There we go. Decelerate is now active. And we're on VNAV path. Down we go. Giving us a warning on the PFD for more drag there initially, but actually we'll assess that and we'll see what happens to see if it reactivates itself or not. There's our VNAV path. My god, look at the rate of descent though. It's at 4,000 foot per minute. That's a bit crazy. Now it's settling. David, very good, very nice. There we go, that looks a bit better. Look, it was trying to catch the VNAV path. 1,000, 2,000 foot per minute. 1010. 1010. 1010. And in here, we're going to go back to our arrival performance. Doc said low auto brake certainly sufficient. So let's set that. We're going to refresh the METAR. We're going to reapply the METAR. So it's going to recalculate. There we go. Mass and balance. Gross weight 64.4 at the moment. The above figures are live. We're just under maximum landing weight. Oh. And that's suggesting 63.1 tons on the calculator there. That'll do. I might even get Navigraph up. Stella. We want the approach. Visual approach 23. So we can doodle stuff. That was going to be 1,800, wasn't it? So we can type in. Let's choose red. Like that. So I've doodled on the charts and we've got our visual approach there ready to go for us. Look at that, very cool. Very, very, very impressive aeroplane. "60 miles, we'll be into the star at that point. There's a speed limit point as well. So MDA 2000, we're at the bottom of the VNAV speed path there, but that's fine. We're just going to leave it to do its thing. We're going to watch to see what it does. We're nice, steady 2,000 foot per minute there, and we're on the ball. Whoa. And outside, super loud. It looks great, doesn't it? And it sounds really good. John, I'm so relieved. Yeah, no DJ Luke party today, thank God, so far. I mean, we've got to get down yet, though. We've got to get down yet. Jeff, absolutely love the aeroplane. For this price, it's basically free. It's very good, isn't it? Aviation Simulation asking, do I get a year subscription to GeoGuessr or Navigraph? Well, of course I'd say Navigraph all day long. Andrew, hello to you. Hold one. On the fuel page, you can see the fuel prediction for the destination airport, and you can subtract the difference of fuel on board, this value, and then you subtract it from the gross weight. Yeah, and that's how you get your figures as well. I was using the estimations in the Simbury flight plan. Where are we? Fuel predictions. There we go. So, estimated fuel on board 5.3. Make sure that's all good. And that's all complete as well, and the final approach is showing on our visual 2-3. Full flap at 145, landing speed, approach 139, landing 134, full flaps selected. There we go, and lovely, they're both split as well. These are all included. Look at this. Shows you how far the simulation goes. Hydraulics. There's our fuel quantities, and our fuel flow at the moment, 50 kilos a minute. And our gross weight, 64.4 tons. Brake temperatures, doors, air conditioning systems, and the APU systems as well. Oh, this is very exciting. I can't wait to get in. Let's go spoilers, speed brake on to full. Let's see what they look like from the outside. Yeah, look at that. Okay, we're about 10 minutes to landing. Seatbelt signs.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will shortly be landing. Please ensure your cabin bag is safely
Dock with our go-around data.
Your tray tables must be stowed, armrests down, and window blinds open. You now need to be seated with your seatbelt fastened, ready for landing. Please help us by handing in any rubbish, newspapers, or magazines you do not want to take with you. The toilets are no longer in service.
And 10:50. Just in case. Okay, what do we got here? Some little stutters going on. VOR to split is alive at the moment. Flick those around. Little master caution for the speed brake being out still. Again, that's a nice simulation. 30 miles. Now let's go into open descent and see what it does. Exact same. Anyway, low auto brake. Let's see, so we've got 30, that's 20. Got to get 40 by Oskol, 4,000 at Oskol. Lassel is there. Okay, well, yeah, we certainly should be on profile for this. With a nice continuous descent. It is, but the PMDG 737, when you're in flight and you activate the spoilers, it will lock off at flight detent. It will never give you full. So it was kind of a test to see whether or not this would give us that half mode or not automatically. Because my keybind is either on or off. The PMDG has got, you activate it in flight, it will only give you flight detent, which is rather smart, really clever. OKLAX. Castella traffic, easy 906 Foxtrot Charlie, QNH 1011, correction 1010 inbound, OKLAX 3 Delta arrival, expecting RNAV visual runway 23 approach, will report Lassel. Castella traffic. Nope. Let's check the flight control page. Actually, they are half. Looks to be half, doesn't it? Smokey, I fly a Piper PA-28, Warrior 2 and 3 usually. A lot smaller. There we go. What a wonderful aeroplane. It's been a joy to fly so far, has to be said. Splits off in the distance. And you can see now we've got this slight left bank as we're flying this DME arc. Blink, probably not until about autumn time. We're getting some stutters now, aren't we? Very interesting. Let's just stay in the flight deck for a minute. No, I use the WASD RNF keys and then the numpad to control the drone cam. There's my little marker, little pen drawing, my doodle. Jeff, yeah. A little nod to variety, perhaps. Wish there was an approach online at Split. 10 flights estimated within 21 minutes of each other. Incredible. And we've got the landing flight monitor, the landing rate monitor switched on for today's flight. So we get to find out how well we've done with our...
Split traffic at 711, descending for our Nebron A23 approach. About position now, Sierra Papa 701, get by.
There we go, that's that done. We want to arm the spoilers. Now in the fly-by-wire, there's Lassell in 15, we've got to lose 6 by then. Make sure the speed brakes are armed. We go to local pressure. 1, 2, and we'll do the first officer's one now as well. And around we go. Look at this. When we get past Lassell, you guys are going to have to put in your landing rate predictions. This is genuinely my first ever landing with the Fenix A320. I've never got this far in the sim since its release without crash to desktops and the memory leak issue. So, very exciting. Not quite sure what to expect. Pilot boy. Which bits do you mean? We've got pink, which is the constraints. Lots of constraints. 10 miles to Lassell. Perhaps just above profile there. 3,000. We'll continue to 2, I think, which is our minimums. Local Q&H, auto brakes set, ground spoilers are armed. And in the fly-by-wire A320X, you do that to get cabin secure. Oh, Hagu, don't. Right, let's get rid of this music. We can hear some sounds exclusively.
Traffic Alitalia 723 now passing Fenix descending to 4000 for future running question RMP future running 23 be advised in split.
Approach phase active, yeah? It is now. $139. Chris, fantastic. Such a spectacular coastline. splits through there actually. I think that's probably where the airport is, just there. Back to no, cancel that. There's the airport. So we're heading in now. Getting a few stutters. We're at Lassell. We're a little above profile, which is not ideal. I'm going to keep the speed brake out, I think, for this. 3, that's 3 at Nurat, and then Rorka. Okay, so we're going to go flaps 1. Doc wants to see final approach, app nav active, there we go. Split traffic, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, passing Lassell inbound for the RNAV visual runway 23 approach. Yeah, no, I don't want that, Doc. That's rather cocked it up for me on the profile. Let's get rid of that. Not good.
Split traffic. Italia 73, now position standby south of Lassell.
Rorka 1887, that's what I want. Yeah, there we go, this is a bit better. There's the blue for the missed approach.
X-ray Papa 711, correction 712. Turning base now for runway 23. Be advised, split.
Ah. Let's go flaps 2 then, because he's there. So he's only 5 miles ahead. We'll do 170 knots, flaps 2. Split traffic, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, number 2 then, and reducing speed 170 knots, passing Nurat, split traffic. There's views from the left. Aviation Simulation wants views from the right. We'll grab that as a screenshot. We're not going to be able to enjoy many of these views, it has to be said. There's 2000, it's going orange because it's at minimums. Ooh, cheeky. Okay, this is nicer.
Minimum.
Split traffic, this is Cruise 108, holding over Lassell, view the traffic.
Oh, the noise. Okay, what do you reckon, guys? Landing rates, put them in the live chat. That's on 5, there's Rorka. Yep, Doc, yeah, 3000 is in there, Nurat.
Split traffic, X-ray Papa 712, short final, runway 23. Be advised.
Minimum.
Okay, my controls. I'm going to start this gentle descent down. Don't need approach mode on, but laps 3, gear down. Split traffic, Easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, turning base, visual approach, runway 23, split traffic. go full flap for now as well as we're approaching the city. Oop, little stutter. Just going to correct. We're going to get rid of the flight directors. We're going to go track FPA. It's a bit better. 64 DME splits. There's the runway. Don't like that view.
Alitalia 73 passing Durat at 2,200 feet to the horizon, please.
The traffic X-ray Papa 712, just vacated runway via Alpha, be advised, split.
Okay, now we're starting the turn. Split traffic easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie, final runway 23 visual. Lots of stutters here today. You can see on the EFB, you see a little aeroplane symbol, which is showing our position actually, which is really nice. This is my first ever approach in the Fenix A320. 1,000 feet. Need a little bit of visual of the runway here. We've got gear down, free green, oars brake low, flaps set to full. Get rid of that view again. Got one red on the Pappy.
500.
That's a bit better. I'm happy with this profile actually. A little bit keen on the turn. Auto thrust doing a really nice job of keeping up with my messy approach. Here we go. Reset that back down to about 800 foot per minute.
$50, $40, $30, $20, retard.
Oh,
Traffic Alitalia 73.
gonna bounce, aren't I?
Retard, 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 retard.
Not very nice.
Retard,
Stop shouting at me.
retard, 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 retard.
Looking good. Hope the whole flight has gone well.
Retard, 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 retard.
Well, that's a bug that they know of.
Retard, 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 retard.
Oh God! Stop shouting at me.
Retard, retard.
There we go. We'll go out of the flight deck for a minute so we can actually rest our ears. Castella traffic easy 96 Foxtrot Charlie vacated and taxi to the apron. 6.
Split traffic Croatia 288 visual on runway 23 20 miles.
5. Alright, well we'll go into this one then. How's this layout coming in here? So it's going to be a little weave. Weird stutters here today. We're going to follow this. There goes the animations for the wings.
Split traffic Telex 10 from right, descending through flight level 160 for the OKLAX.
Here's the, briefly anyway, here's the external reverse sounds. How cool is that? Pilot, no, I don't think that was a hard landing.
Split traffic, this is Air Greece 320, entering hold over La Sul due to inbound traffic.
What do we think, guys? Fenix A320. Doc says, why have I got an Asobo aeroplane there? It's probably because I'm not running the sim in admin mode anymore. Art brake set. As an is rare. Oops. Got APU on. Yep. Got to check our temperatures as well. Clear that. Initialize weights. Clear that memo as well. Right, we'll give the engine a minute to sort itself out, and in the meantime, yeah, it's an interesting bounce there for touchdown. Not quite sure why we got an orange one there. We've got a Ryanair sat ready to go, and we've got a few on finals, I think. Look at that for a view. Obviously we came in sweeping in over the city. Oh, John, insanely relieved. Insanely relieved. Macco, not sure what's been going on with my sim, to be honest. We did a stream a week ago. I can't remember where we were going now. But we ended up getting some weird memory issues to the point where I've spent £300 buying new RAM in MSFS. New RAM for my PC. I've got 64 gig of RAM because I genuinely thought there was a significant problem with my RAM being broken or dying. Turns out that wasn't the case. Turns out it's an issue with MSFS instead. So I'm 300 quid down, which has meant that I can't fly for the next few weeks until payday. Because my one flight a month usually comes out of what I've got left out of pay. And then, yeah, all for no reason at all. I've done a lot of updating, a lot of tweaking. Yeah, that's the one thing I need to do with the Fenix A320. I need to remap autopilot off so we don't get the ECAM warning. I think I've got autopilot disengaged or something like that, which is great for the other aircraft, but for some reason this aeroplane doesn't like that. Okay, well that's been long enough, and APU is available and on bleed.
7984 holding at last rule.
What have we got? Sounds. Oh, I forgot to turn the taxi lights off as well. Oh, look at that, Alitalia. Beacon can go off, we can go into here and we can go to the Fenix app. Arrived, would you like to commence deboarding? Now that's really cool. So we can go to ground services. We can put the steps in place, forward and aft. And we can turn. We can get the steps connected and then we can just go to the deboard, hit that there, and watch the mass balance with everybody leave the aeroplane. We can play the announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cabin crew will shortly be leaving.
Yeah, hopefully Fenix update it perhaps to fix it. I'd rather not wreck the other aeroplanes to solve a problem for one aircraft, if that makes sense.
Portable electronic devices for messaging, calls or internet access may now be used.
Oh no, Macco Simulations, it's not EGCC at all, no. Good choice, PMTG 737 hopefully. There's a load of people holding all the way up there somewhere. Oh John, thank you buddy, it's really kind of you. Ashley sent me a memo on approach as well, didn't he? Let me have a look. Ashley said, looking good, hope the flight has gone well. Yeah, mesmerisingly well. We've had some stutters over the Alps, which is weird, and they've continued through. Here he comes, whoever that is. Is it Croatia Airlines? John, thank you mate.
Hope this helps towards your RAM expenditure.
Keep smashing that like button guys while you're here as well. Hopefully you've enjoyed today's Fenix A320 flights to beautiful Croatia. Interestingly, you can see a dip on the runway as well. It kind of kinks up near that touchdown zone. So perhaps that contributed to the firm touchdown rating too. It's a bit of an upslope where the wheels are touching down. That looks like a nice approach. It's Cocolada. Pilot boy, I am at Denham for my real life flying, but I work at Heathrow currently. That looks very good, Cocolada. Yeah, no, Macco Simulations, which is the developer of the departure airport today, Manchester, also created awesome Cancun, which we still need to visit actually. And wonderful Birmingham, which is the airport I grew up at on holiday. Hey, very nice. Swamp.
Great stream as always.
Thank you very much, Swamp. Really generous of you. There's our little aeroplane on stand with the stairs. Jake Darling, welcome. Thanks for subscribing.
Split traffic, Croatia, gate 8, runway B, gate 8, taxi into bay.
And Matt Booth, thank you very much, buddy. So, I'm just going to have a little look on Volanta to see who else we have en route. I think we had quite a few on the way in. Wowzers, we've got a load of people in the holes. Fantastic. Got quite a few people on the way in. Pilot boy, I think that's Biggin Hill. Oh, Jake Darling, good question. I'm not sure. I've got quite a few hundred for my sins. Can't see anybody just yet. Malcolm, this is the Orbx split scenery, and we departed from Macco Simulations Manchester Airport as well. You can find that one on maccosim.com.
That's 1 Alpha Mike, leaving Lasso for the runway 23 visual.
Eddie, can't say, sadly. Yeah, we're watching the other aircraft, so everybody that flies behind me, I like to watch them land as well.
Sorry, I jumped the queue a little bit there. Yeah,
2005 traffic. Okay, no problem.
Gas is going mental. Matt Booth, none. I'd love an ATPL. I'd love to become an airline pilot. It was always a dream of mine, but financially it's just impossible. It's a rich man's game, or for people that like to be heavily indebted for about 10 to 20 years. I just can't afford it, as much as I would love to. How do you think that looked for my first ever landing in the Fenix A320, but also my first time manually flying it on a visual approach too? Is it pretty good? Room for improvement as always. What does traffic mean? It means he's almost crashing and his TCAS is going mental. He's almost hit another aeroplane. Look at this for some detail. Not bad, eh? It looks pretty good. Oh, Matt, BA, of course. All day long. There's the fan blades rotating away. He says as the sim stutters again. That is a really nice bit of texture work. Look at that. Zoom in. MPS Gaming, cheers buddy. Almost 200 likes today as well. Really appreciate it, everybody. Yeah, 400 foot per minute touchdown though. Ooh, bit firm. There's the rear galley. Got a sneak peek. And then we can punch in, whoops, through the curtain, back into the cabin, which is weirdly where the sound stops. Jake, no, we're not going to, sadly. Pilot Boy says, it sure suits you to be ATPL, you seem very methodical. A lot of flying, even sort of for the small aeroplanes as well. Certainly is handy if you can just sort of work through things logically, step by step, and just sort of follow whatever process you're given. Some of the aircraft certainly lend themselves to make it a bit easier for you, like the Airbus, which is really nice. The Airbus is a lot more forgiving than the Boeing, that's for sure. Little wiggle on the wings. Oh, that's a nice touchdown on the touchdown zone there. Little bounce, but it is an uphill section, so I did the same thing there. And it looks like an Asobo default. Of course it is. Why would it not be? So that's what happens with model matching if you don't run the sim in admin mode, but I have to run the sim normally. Have to run it normally and not admin mode because the Fenix program doesn't like admin mode. Cobus, so the one I use at the moment is called Sky Dolly, but it's since Sim Update 9 they've all become very unstable, so I tend not to use many anymore. Depends on the aircraft too. Is the main fuselage based on the default A320 Macco Sim? No, it's I think it was modelled from, was it a port in from P3D? Somebody was saying the other day, I'm not sure. Wouldn't want to give you guys wrong information. Here comes the next one. My God, there's a lot. There's a lot coming in very quickly. Here he comes. How's that profile looking? That's okay. That's actually looking alright, although he's looking a bit high now. Maybe it's going to be an assault landing. John, very impressive. You know what, I might have this. Maybe I should read it out easier. John says, very impressive. You know what, I might have this in my hangar by the end of play today. Yeah, so John, you've not got the Fenix A320 yet, but it sounds like now you might be swayed.
Split traffic aircraft 320, turning base.
Actually, yeah, very odd. That's why I've always run it in admin mode. Oh, Doc. There we go, buddy. Thank you. That's why that other aircraft appeared as a blob. Fenix A320 modelled from real 3D scans of the real aeroplane. That's looking pretty good. Maybe a little low. He might have the default scenery as well, so touchdown zone will look very different depending on what scenery you have, potentially. So that could be bang on for him, but that looks very smooth touchdown. We're getting all sorts of variety of aircraft come in today now. You've got Eurowings, Aegean is rare, ourselves, EasyJet, Croatia, oh, Osprey of course as well. David A's flying the MDG 737. There's a KLM.
Split traffic on finals, runway 23.
Let's swivel that around. Oh my good grief, yeah, do a land after, just land anyway. Jet 2. I bet this is great fun in the 737. There's a lot more going on.
Split traffic, runway vacated, Eurowings 7984.
Thank you very much. Final for runway 23, Airgris 320.
Look at that. That was well recovered, well dealt with. Adria radar online, of course it is. Brilliant. Enrique, it's the RNAV visual runway 23 into split. It is rather hairy. Look how cool that is. We're filling up the airport. It's a stunning bit of scenery, this, in a really nice part of the world. Over the coast, sweeping over the city. What's not to love? There's the next one. Turning them out.
Challenge 1 Alpha Mike, runway vacated.
It's funny, the 737 looks like it's quicker. Looks like it's flying that final approach segment faster, even though it's probably doing it at the same speed. 11 arrivals, Jake, into split here on VATSIM today. Fantastic. Adria's come online, 1300, so if I flick over on here and go COM1.
Good evening, Finnair 1835 with you, passing level 111 inbound Terra.
Finnair 1835, squawk 5231.
He's got the Orbx scenery. And he's gone for a touchdown after the bump. That's smart.
Good evening, Fox 1526 with you, flight level 360.
Osprey 722, turn left, heading 220.
Wow, look how busy that is.
Osprey 722, turn left, heading 220.
New boy, flown into split in a C-130, amazing. Real life?
1526, squawk 5262.
5260, 526.
Osprey 490, descent 4000.
4000, Osprey 490.
So David, by the looks of it, has been vectored out there somewhere.
1010 on QNH, Osprey 490.
7 departures, good grief. Are there enough gates? Probably not.
Osprey 722, that's 220, that was a right turn for me.
Yep, A from right turn heading 220.
Roger, Osprey 722.
Control, hello, Scandinavian 585, level 350.
Scandinavian 585, Adria, set squawk 5253.
Look how busy this is, very cool. If you've not got the Macco Simulations Manchester and you fancy grabbing hold of that, one of the best payware sceneries for the UK and MSFS at the moment, all you've got to do is click that link in the description, in the live stream, sorry.
AlphaJet 217, inbound Daroj, 115 miles.
If you want split, I'm just fetching the link for that.
5261.
5261, AlphaJet 217.
Another Finnair 1835, what can we expect at upper range?
Yep, 1835.
And of course, if you want the Fenix Airbus A320, then that third link in the live chat is the one you need.
We'll be planning for the visual 29 now, Finnair 1835.
We haven't got anyone on final yet, because Adria radar is online, so he's just sorting out the airspace above. So if we go to Balanta, there we are. So you can see now, Adria radar's connected, covering this entire section of airspace. Sod's law really, because quite a few across Italy have also come online. You can see David's been vectored out. There he is. We've got Hawaii Easy 93 Papa November coming in from Gatwick on the A320. We've got Gav Osprey 722. There he is.
Direct IGNU.
I think that is the last two.
Direct visual for runway 23.
And confirm 4000.
descend 4,000.
Osprey 490, speed 210.
Yeah, so we've got 3 to come in basically.
Osprey 490.
Guy's about to land into London Stansted after a 4-hour flight from Dalaman. Very nice. Out of curiosity, is it the Free West Stansted that you've got, Kai? Let's zoom back over here. There we are.
5731, Roger, expect runway 234, departure, we'll call you shortly.
So while we wait, we can go across here. We can open the flight deck door now. And then we can go for a little walk out through the cabin with the doors open. How cool is that? Actually, go out now, the door's open. Oh, no, blocked. We'll go through the bulkhead. I love the detail in the cabin, it's very British Airways. I spent 3 years flying these, while sitting in the back, operating as cabin crew.
Just still on the flight plane, IGNU, can you just spell it out for me? Osprey 720.
72 seconds.
It's not in my flight plane, IGNU. Just not familiar with the area. Can you just confirm the spelling?
722, if you set the RNAV visual 23, you can set the transition.
You can pretty much set whatever custom views you want, even like this, without the window being in view.
Affirmative, roger that, Osprey 720.
And in the meantime, you can turn left, heading 120, and then direct east.
Turn left, heading 120, Osprey 720.
Oh, he's been given direct to Idnum. IDNUM for Gav. Josh, yeah, was for 3 years on the A320 family. So A319, 20 and 21s. So these, and then I was 747 and 777 as well for the long haul section of things. And then when the A380 was delivered, ex-LEA, I switched from the 747 to the A380. Jake, that's Valanta. It's created by Orbx. You can just go https //
and real null in the transitions. Struggling to find IGNU in the database.
72, sorry, say again?
I've got in the transitions. I've got LaSalle, I've got Osgol, and I've got Rilno. No IGNU.
Okay, 722, fly heading.
Look at that for a window view.
90, it will be visual approach runway 23.
Turn left 090, visual approach runway 23 for Osprey 722.
OKLAX got Oslo going crazy constantly over 25 departures. That's pretty cool.
180 or less, Osprey 490.
And Lilo, good afternoon. Go in to the terminal there. Look at that, beautiful view of the Fenix A320 now. Through the glass.
5731 to destination Ben Gurion, Lead 8 Echo, runway 23, climb 5,000 feet, squawk 5227.
Press the spacebar just to recenter the horizon a little bit.
Radar, good afternoon to you. Easy 123, flight level 380, Airbus 320, inbound to Delta, India 0, Oscar Romeo.
Easy 123, Roger, calling shortly, stand by.
There's an event in Oslo, of course there is. That'd have been great fun. So one of the cool things about this is the fact that if it's raining, the wipers actually do something. Oh, look at that. You can see the cabin. I definitely don't have grey hair in real life. That's quite cool. Seeing the cabin as it is. Now if I go into here, Josh, we've got Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight. So deboarded, unloaded, we've not bothered about fuel. We're going to go ground services. And I'm actually now going to go to external power.
Easy 91, caution 92 Quebec Hotel Squawk 5210.
Let's listen to the APU shutdown.
AJ radar, good afternoon. Delta Alpha India Charlie Hotel with you, flight level 380.
Okay, Delta Charlie Hotel standby, break, easy 92 Quebec Hotel identified now, continue.
Josh, yes.
Clear direct Lazo, clear Arnav, visual approach runway 23.
We have turned it off, haven't we? Yes.
Lima Alpha, Sierra, uniform Lima, clear Arnav, visual 23.
Jake Valanta. There you go. Just Valanta.app. And you can download the program for your PC.
35 wind 29 degrees 6 knots 29 Finland.
Get around runway 29 up and 185.
Oh, interestingly, we're not getting any APU shutdown yet. We'll see how long it takes.
Olympic 675 Roger, we hold you shortly, standby.
Closing already? Wow.
3722 wind is Croatian airport is on your 10 o'clock range 6 miles. Report visual.
Josh, yeah, it works absolutely fine for me.
72 Roger, continue visual approach runway 23, call me training final.
Interesting. Look at that. M1 stuck at 100.
Report on final Osprey 722.
Osprey 490 reduce minimum approach speed.
There we go.
Minimum approach speed.
It was more than 2 minutes, Malcolm. There's the sounds.
Easy to Quebec Hotel. Do you have the latest ARAC? Okay, caution Easy to Quebec Hotel. From present position.
The reason why I've done that is because one of my favourite sounds of this aeroplane, it sounds silly to say this, but it's this clicking on the engines. That click-clack noise. Yeah, it's weird that it was still at 100%, Malcolm, wasn't it? The thing is that, I mean, the click-clack noise, I'll stand next to an A320 regularly, especially on a night shift. I'll just go and explore the airfield, and I'll stand next to different aircraft and I'll listen. Christopher, my reverse is with, well, it's the buttons. So the bottom of the throttles on the Velocity 1, they click down into, they're like a button almost. So I've got reverse set on press, which is having it selected all the way back. But if I do it very quickly, it will go reverse idle. If I press and hold it for a couple of seconds, or leave it down into the click spot of the throttle, then it will give me max reverse.
Traffic in sight, Osprey 490.
Click, click, click. We've got the noise from the little GPU there as well. I can't remember what PCA stands for.
identified.
But what we can do is... Oh, there's TCAS. Got to turn that off. So we know we've got somebody inbound now. There's a nice clue. Company message. ATSU. AOC. Receive messages. Arrival message. There we go.
Address, radar, hello, EG37.
Actual time of arrival 14:45. There's our weather data that I forgot to look at earlier. So now if we go onto my flight, it's showing complete, and then the flight there shows completed, and it's taken 2 hours 16. Actual time of departure, a couple of minutes ahead of schedule, and our arrival even earlier. So if you now have a new Simbury flight plan ready to go, you just hit import next flight, and then you go back into your ground services and everything, and you start working away at sorting the rest out. Now, what I want to go and see actually is the forward, aft and cargo animations. So we'll do the external one here, this forward cargo hold first. One thing I've not found is how to actually get the ground equipment to do it. And you see, that's very fast. And there's no little hydraulic bounce at the top like Fly-by-Wire have added onto their aircraft as well. It gets to the top of the range. And the rear. Really nice animation there with the handles lifting though. And then we got the little bulk cargo door as well.
Speed at Portugal Lima, identified climb 380. Stormjet 721, Unicom 128.
128, Stormjet 721, bye-bye.
Which doesn't appear to be animated. We've got somebody on final. We've got to try and spot them as they make their way in. Reconditioned air. Oh yes, thank you. Welcome. Right, it's only the small planes. PA-28, little Piper Warrior. Craig saying it's Gav just turning finals. Awesome. Very late for him over the other side. But there he is. Got him. Looks to be in the PMDG 737 Osprey Airways livery, which is absolutely stunning. Painted by Tapsy. It's available to download for free on our website. I wonder if I can get a picture of him touching down. Looking pretty good.
Please from the destination, runway 23 and use squawk 5255. The departure.
Thanks, Trains Elliot. Hello to you. Wondering in the Fenix A320 if there's a rudder antenna separation. There certainly is, yes. I haven't set it though. So my rudder still works with tiller plus rudder pedals together.
Ready for pushback and start.
Israel 5731, there is no pushback at split startup is approved for taxi.
Oh dear. He's done it. We'll call engineering and I'll send him the bill. And then I'm going to do that. Somebody goes whizzing past. Doink. Got a screenshot. It's the cargo version. Well, that's fine. No passengers were harmed in the making of this video. Look how stunning that livery is though, folks. How nice is that? Osprey World Cargo. Spectacular livery. That's one of my favourites.
Ready for startup, scale M105.
LM105, startup approved.
That's him.
105.
Adria Radar, dobar dan I Papa Kilo, Yacht 346, climbing flight level.
So, Flying Y saying, sadly, Russians can't buy the Fenix. Josh saying, why not? It's probably because they invaded a friendly Ukraine country. And they're killing lots of people. Murdering lots of innocent people. David, yeah. Absolutely.
Osprey 490, runway 23, clear land, 230 degrees, 9
Here comes David.
23, clear to land, Osprey 490.
There he is. Look at that livery, it looks great.
Ready for taxi,
He looks close though, doesn't he?
Okay, multiple stations, easy 92 Quebec, hot dog, confirm level 130.
What do you reckon, folks, Butter? Why crazy, you can't compare Fenix over fly-by-wire. Absolutely, yeah, you can't. They're both incredibly good in their own right, made by similarly incredible developers, very passionate about what they do. That's the go-around. Or it's just maybe the angle of it, perhaps. Could be the angle, actually. But hey, it's cargo, doesn't matter. Unless it's my gin and tonic, I'll be disappointed. Actually, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that looks alright. Maybe a tad high at the moment. But David's pretty good. He'll have it sorted in no time. Get it restabilised on the approach, I'm sure. 200 likes, guys. Thank you. 203 likes. Thank you very much. Gav, for now, it was alright, buddy.
5731, Roger, hold position.
David's going for the assault landing.
From the left to right, Airbus 320 KLM company.
And look at that. He's got it recovered. Told you. Every faith. Now that looks quite nice. Oh, look at that. Beautiful flare. And he's down. Gonna be a bit of a backtrack for him. That looked good in the end.
Osprey 490, I'm gonna have to backtrack.
490, backtrack approved.
Going for it.
Osprey 490, backtrack approved. KLM 195, backtrack runway 23 is approved.
Doc says the original call sign is on the star now. Right, they took off an hour and a half before us. There must have been somebody that did it after.
Israel 5731, taxi via Bravo. Caution taxi, calling point Bravo, runway 23.
David, yeah, I need to get back into this 146 as well. That's a great aeroplane, but the 737 at the moment has captured, I think, out of everything that's available, that's definitely captured my heart at the moment. I find it really enjoyable, quite challenging as well. The Airbus is quite forgiving. If you start to sort of bugger it up, it can look after you if need be. But the PMDG 737 or the 737 in general can really stuff you up if you get things wrong, and that's where you have to really actively try and learn the jet. And I love that. Plus, we've got this beautiful livery. We've got the Osprey Airways Fenix A320 livery coming soon, by the way. But this is fresh out the paint shop. Look at that. There's David.
675 runway 23 clear.
Love our livery. It's so good.
If I can see that 290 degrees 1 moment.
Copy 1, clear for takeoff runway 31, 675.
We're going to chase him back. Jake, we use SimBrief as a free, but if you've got Navigraph subscription, it gives you a load of additional data.
Question 5225.
Squawk 5225, from Aluminium 450.
We're going to do that. Peekaboo.
Please go 5103, squawk 5241.
Osprey 490, clear T3.
Osprey 490, roger. Taxi stand of choice.
Taxi stand of choice, taxi EGCC, Osprey 490.
It's 5731 behind departing aircraft Airbus 320 KLM company, backtrack approved behind.
Backtrack
and departing Airbus, approach Fenix A320.
KLM 195, runway runway 23, clear takeoff 230 degrees, 9 knots.
That'll be him.
Ready for departure, KLM 195.
Yeah, KLM 195, runway 23, clear takeoff, wind is 23...
Yeah, it's difficult to kind of judge between the two. You've got the PMDG 737, which is incredibly good in its own right, and then you've got the Fenix A320, which is now available, and again, just incredibly good and great fun to use. They're both top of the class for what they can do and what they look like, what they sound like. And again, both developers have committed to supporting it for some time to come, so we can expect incredible sort of updates and add-ons for both of these coming up. Here comes a KLM takeoff. As we've turned into split pane spotters. Whoa, that's a tail strike.
Airborne ALIVO 675.
675, identify 2300, climb level 200.
And oh, where'd he go?
Flight level 200,
Off he goes.
ALIVO 675.
So the Israel has been given a backtrack. I'm not sure if we've got anyone else. Lilo, what do I think of the Fenix so far? Fantastic. It's really nice to have a slightly older version of the A320, which is also very complete, minus weather radar of course, but that's an issue that all developers at the moment are waiting for a SOBO to sort out. That's coming at Sim Update 10. But yeah, I can say hands down, first full flight completed in the Fenix A320. Absolutely loving it. The detail, the immersion, very good. The complexities of the systems, very nice. The sounds and the modelling, exceptionally good. And for the price, you get great value for money. Similar to the PMDG 737 as well. For what you get included in the price, right there, you've got two incredibly good aircraft options for your sim experience. Both the Fenix A320, which we've enjoyed today, and then the PMDG 737, both in their own right exceptional products for MSFS, and I can highly recommend them both.
Easy 92 Quebec Hotel, descent 6,000 feet, QNH 10.
I just need to try and get a decent screenshot of both of them.
Easy 62 92 Quebec Hotel, descent 6,000 feet, QNH 1010.
Get out of the way, stairs. There we go. Look at that.
Easy 3 kilos up to me.
Looking forward to seeing the Osprey livery on the Fenix A320. That's going to be great fun. Tapsy's working away at painting that. Here comes an Israel for takeoff.
1010.
Copy QNH 1010.
Oh, David, that's a wonderful touchdown.
Climb was 5,000 feet. Nevertheless, climb level 200.
Climbing 200, sorry, KLM 195.
And 195 for traffic separation, turn left heading 350.
Left heading 350, KLM 195.
I think that is all of us.
Israel 5731, when ready, runway 23, clear takeoff, 230 degrees, 9 knots.
They're going to watch his takeoff.
Clear to takeoff, runway 23, Israel 5731.
I hope you guys have enjoyed today's live stream. Thank you to all of our new subscribers. It's great to have you all on board with us today. I'm glad the sim has lasted for a full flight too. I really wasn't sure if we were going to get this far with how unstable it's been with Sim Update 9's hotfix for me. I've got a feeling putting page file back to system managed was the solution, interestingly enough. So if you're having the same problem, it might be worth you exploring that if you've tweaked the page file like I had based on advice quite a while ago. Swamp, John, Ashley, thank you very much folks for your super chat. Really appreciate all your support, and all of our bronze, silver, gold frequent flyers behind the channel too. All the screenshots, I'm going to have to manually upload them all onto Volanta one at a time. I didn't want to stress the sim too much today. But they'll also end up in our Discord server too. Not sure what the Israel's doing, but he's taking his time. In any case, first flight conducted and completed with the Fenix A320. You can highly recommend it. It's been really enjoyable. And again, so there's 2 aircraft on stand that you can see at the moment, both equally really, really good. And this is now Microsoft Flight Simulator coming into its own and setting that bar exceptionally high with a lot of great variety mixed with the Just Flight 146
would you like 11 or 29?
as well. Off he goes. Lots more to come. We're going to be looking at streaming tomorrow. I haven't quite decided what yet, but it may well be we're going to be in the PMDG 737 tomorrow. We might even do the return journey from Split back to Manchester or something like that. But in any case, keep an eye on the channel, stay subscribed, hit the like before you head off, and I will hope to see you in the very near future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon. Take care.
Roger, clear for the narrow 1 Yankee and expecting the RNAV.
Easy 9 to select hotel second.
Flight level 130.
Yep, descend 6,000.
Thank you, 6,000. Going to be full clear to request 3 minutes of appropriate.
Okay, 4602 Roger.